Listens turn to for information in your industry. Contact me, Lori Vernier, at theanswerstl.com, and we can discuss bringing your brand to life with your own radio program.
If you love radio as much as we do, then why don't you join us by having your own show? Just go to theanswerstl.com and click Contact Us at the bottom of the page.
This station owned and operated by Salem Media Group.
You love that smell, that new truck smell, all cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at customcarandtruck.com.
While cleaning out the attic, I ran across my father's classic Winchester rifle. Wanted to give it to my son for his birthday, but I didn't know what it needed in order to be restored. So I took it to Razorback Armory for a cleaning and performance check. What a great birthday present it was. My son uses it and will pass it on to my grandson someday. I know that would make my father happy if you were here today. Restore your guns to the condition they deserve. Visit the pros at Razorback Armory in De Pere, just east of 270 on Manchester. RazorbackArmory.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western sky.
Good morning this morning. Good morning this morning. Good morning this morning. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing all the microphones here at the Allman Morning Complex. Good morning this morning. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday and day 2 of Allman. Don't worry, I'm not going to say like day 75. Don't worry, it's day 2. I think once I'm past day 2, I'll leave you alone. I won't keep calling it day this and day that. I'll just end it right there. So good morning and happy Friday to you. And don't forget, you can download the Answer app to stream the show at theanswerstl.com. And you can also, if you want to talk to me now, call 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380. Tammy Mitchell, it's calltammy.com. It's called the calltammy.com phone line. And I really appreciate Tammy Mitchell Hines for her support of this show. Calltammy.com. She is the Metro East premier realtor and a supporter of Allman in the Morning. Yes, 2.0, people. So much to talk about. We've got this whole blow up regarding the Mark Meadows and the Lynn Patton deal. I don't know whether you remember the Cohen hearing, and there was some insinuation that Mark Meadows was a racist because he put Lynn Patton up there to talk about how if you're just good at what you do and everything else, you can actually get along and move along. And then she was referred to as a token by one of these left-wing kooks. And then Don Lemon claps for her, and then she asks a very pertinent question on Fox and Friends. So we're going to follow up on that. Also, Jimmy Carafano is going to be joining us at 6:30 this morning, and we're going to kind of download on the North Korea thing. Jimmy's really great at what he does at heritage.org, and he's been following this North Korea deal. We're not going to beat it to death, but it still is, I think we're going to get kind of the final review of what happened in Vietnam when President Trump met Kim Jong-un. And so we're going to see how this whole thing goes. I was amazed kind of to see how the reporting was going on throughout the day on this whole thing. And it's really, I think it's crazy when we have so many differences of opinion, and usually it goes along party lines. I mean, if you're a Democrat or you're a never-Trumper and you hate Trump, it went terribly and miserably, and it was a miserable failure. If you like Trump and you voted for him and you back your president and you back your country, for that matter, as far as I'm concerned, then you think, hey, this is at least some progress from a time months ago but we had Kim Jong-un threatening to incinerate the rest of the world. So to me, it was a huge success. And it's not just because I'm a Trump supporter or because it has to be a huge success. It's because I am happy that we're finally corralling this guy and getting him to a point where we really kind of need him to be. And all of the cuts and all the dismantling of his weaponry will come later. And Ronald Reagan did it in 1986. President Trump's doing it in 2019. It's really no different when he walked away from Reykjavik. It's not a big difference at all. We have that going for us. And then Doug Giles is going to be joining us at 8:30 as he normally does. And of course, he is at ClashDaily.com and a great guy. And he has a great podcast called Warriors and Wildmen. And he's an awesome dude. So Doug Giles is going to be joining us a little later on. And I know you guys, maybe in the sports world, have been focusing a little bit on this situation with Bryce Harper. He signs with Philly. But you know what's crazy about this for all of you in the common sense conservative wheelhouse, there's actually an angle to this that you might be attracted to. And that is because the Giants could have had Bryce Harper, but taxes in California are so high that they would have had to go almost $30 million above what Philly offered just to cover the taxes for Bryce Harper, and it wasn't going to happen. So we are efforting to get Victor David Hanson on with us a little later on, but if not, we're still going to tackle the story. We also have this blow up regarding a bunch of Sonic employees. It makes national news. These people all walk out because they're butthurt over some actions by a manager, and this thing makes national news. But it just goes to show you, back in the day, you and I, if we were working and we had some issue with the boss, the last thing we would do is put a sign on the door and walk out. We just wouldn't. It never happened back in the day, but it's happening now. So we're going to follow up on that as well. I do want to tell you, too, that apparently I'm hearing we're going to get like 6 inches of snow on Sunday. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but just watch out for that. I want to go to Brian in Illinois on line 1. Brian, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Hey, Jamie, how's it going?
I'm
Glad
doing,
you're back, man.
Oh, thank you so much.
I was so freaking pissed at those guys. I tell you, I called both places. I called Jeff Allen and I left him a message, and I called Katie and Ellen and left them a message. I mean, I wasn't too abrasive because I wanted you back on.
Yeah.
But I put up a little bit of a fight for you. But I'm sorry I didn't get. I'm not even online anymore, or else I would have contacted you through that.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you're on, man.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it just goes to show you, and thank you to Salem Media for giving you your voice back, because what happened is I was on Facebook and on the stream, but as you point out, you weren't really on the internet or online, and so
I was hoping you were.
Yeah.
I've been offline for a long time.
Yeah. Well, there a lot of people checked out. It was a very disappointing time. It was a somewhat defeating time for a lot of people, and it showed us something that we didn't know was possible, that it was going to be so easy for these left-wing mobs to just kind of take out a voice. And so the fight isn't over, by the way, with that whole situation. I'm not going to belabor it, but on the air here, but the fight isn't over on that situation. So just mark my words, this is never going to happen again if I have any control over it. So I'll be looking out for you.
I know it's happened, and even to like Kevin Steincross, and he didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he read the teleprompter like it was written, I think, and he didn't say what they said. He said, I think that he just said, like K without King without the I. And how do you pronounce that? That's what I.
Yeah. Well, anyway, nowadays, Brian, these guys. The problem is once you cave, like what happened with me, once you cave, the floodgates are open. There's no one who's safe under those circumstances unless you fight back, which is why I did, and which is why eventually, that's why I'm on the air as soon as I was, because I fought back. And so when I was freed, Salem Media came forward, and that's why I am now on Allman in the Morning on The Answer. So I appreciate you listening to the show, man.
I'm so glad they did, man. I'm so glad they did.
All right, buddy.
Because anyway, I like Channel 30. I don't even watch them anymore. I watch Cheryl Atkinson.
Yeah,
and that's the only one I watch.
Yeah,
and it's like I listen to the Blue Line Radio every Saturday, and they bumped it.
Crazy.
I know that Mark and Skip, they had their rock show starting. They had a half-hour rock show, And I was hoping. I said, man, I hope you get another half hour and get an hour. But I didn't want them to bump the blue line off.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they did. They bumped the blue line off, and now maybe the Salem will pick up the blue line.
Oh, hey, well, that's a possibility, I'm sure. All right, Brian, thanks for calling in, man.
All right, man. Welcome back. I'll be here.
Oh, sounds good. And call anytime, brother. That's Brian from Illinois. By the way, speaking of the show, the Allman Report, which was on Channel 30, and we were doing pretty well. We were kind of competing pretty well with the other stations just because we had a different local news brand, and we didn't cover fires and warehouse fires and everything else, and we kind of made fun of the other stations because I think Channel 2 wound up coming up with the Aqua, what would they call it, the Aqua camera? And it was like they came up with it was like a boat. Now we have a boat. It's like, really? Yes, we have a boat. We're going to get in the boat and give you an angle from the boat. Like, so you have the they called it Aquafox. It's kind of like having a helicopter, except this was a boat. And so they were going to apparently cover the murder from a boat. Or cover the warehouse fire from a boat. And we had all these fun times with the Allman Report because we said we had our own, like, jumbo jet, just in case you wanted an aerial view of the warehouse fire from 30,000 feet up in the air. We also had the Allman Report locomotive, which was a train. And we will pass through any abandoned field where there's a body, and we'll cover that from the Allman Report train. And by the way, speaking of that, if you're on Facebook now and you can see the pictures, we installed the old heat phone up there, the red heat phone up there, just in case. So we'll call that the calltammy.com heat phone if we wanted to. 844-855-1380. And don't forget, Jimmy Carafano, just about 15 minutes away. All right, so let me get to this Don Lemon deal and the Lynn Patton thing. I'm going to take you back. It's a little bit in the weeds. But keep in mind, this is the other blow-up that occurred out of the Cohen hearing. And this was the whole racism blow-up. And what happened is there was Lynn Patton, who was a guest of Mark Meadows, a congressman, just to kind of go and show that there are people who are here defending President Trump because Cohen called Trump a racist in this particular hearing. And when you call somebody a racist, people have and should get involved in defending themselves because that's the new smear these days. That's the new Star of David when they just they pin on you and call you a racist. So it's too easy. So Mark Meadows brought up Lynn Patton and said, listen, look at what happened with Lynn Patton and the Trump administration, how much he helped her and how much she was able to make headway, and she's a black woman. Well, apparently this one congressperson, and her name is Brenda Lawrence, who just went off on Mark Meadows and decided that she was going to say that Lynn Patton was just a token. And keep in mind, Mark Meadows has already been declared a racist because he was one of the guys like President Trump was, and I didn't really agree with them. I wasn't a birther. I believe that President Obama was born here, and I wasn't one of those people who were really interested in his birth certificate. Wasn't too lathered up about that. And so what I did was I just kind of begged off on it and just said on the radio that I believe that President Obama's born here. It's just like it was kind of that easy. So anyway, you have Don Lemon on CNN deciding that he's going to trumpet this designation of Meadows as a racist. And I've never seen an anchor actually just I don't really know what Don Lemon is, whether he's an anchor or an opinionist or what he is. But that's what the problem with CNN is that they come across as these individuals who are just your news reporters, but they're not. I mean, they're advocates, they're activists, and they hide it behind this objectivity that just isn't there. And I don't mind if they happen to be left-wingers. I don't mind if they happen to have a different opinion of mine, but just or a different philosophy. But just tell me when you are left winger or right winger, and I'm good. Just tell me. Don't frustrate me and then decide you're going to hide from this. So Don Lemon, though, is a guy who will tell you he's an objective journalist, but not by what I hear here. Listen to this.
I just want to put on the record as being a black American and having endured the public comments of racism from the sitting president, as being a black person, I can only imagine what's being said in private. And to prop up one member of our entire race of black people and say that that nullifies that is totally insulting. And in this environment of expecting a president to be inclusive and to look at his administration speaks volume.
By the way, there's been a study out that shows that President Trump's cabinet is more diverse than Yale's cabinet, and Yale actually has a cabinet. Thank you, Don.
Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I thought you were clapping for me. No, he's clapping for the congresswoman who just decided that Lynn Patton wasn't good enough of an example, and how dare she get in the way of their calling President Trump a racist. Well, Lynn Patton has responded. I'm going to talk about that when we come back. Also take your phone calls, 855-1380. And don't forget to stream us live. Download the app at theanswerstl.com. And as you all know, what happens with the Allman in the Morning Show, and I'm keeping it up here on terrestrial radio, yes, indeed, our national anthem.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We've got a great start to our Friday morning out there. The only thing we're looking at is construction. A couple of roadwork projects have popped up. 6440 eastbound, a right lane closed on the Poplar Street Bridge until 4 o'clock today. We also have 141 southbound from 6440 to Manchester. Construction in place there until 2:30. Roadwork in the right lane on the ramp from northbound 55 to the eastbound Poplar Street Bridge. That's there until 4 o'clock as well. And some midday roadwork coming up today, 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between 109 and Lindbergh. Traffic is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
it may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hey, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors. If you enjoy hunting, fishing, or just God's great creation, then you'll want to join me in the Camp House. We travel all over these great United States, bringing hunting and fishing opportunities your way, plus special guests and knowledgeable pros. Big Billy Kinder Outdoors, Saturday mornings at 5 on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Brought to you by Denny Dennis Sporting Goods and Fenton, specializing in fitted guns for protection or the outdoors enthusiast. Like them on Facebook to get in on their weekly specials.
Buying the right window treatments for your home can make a huge difference. Should you use curtains, shades, shutters, or blinds? Get the best recommendation when you call Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael has been serving our area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also a top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Cut down on the risk of error. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor.
Smash here, St. Louis, Ace Sundays, 11 a.m. till noon, right here on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. I'll be bringing you the People's Praise Party. Smash playing Jesus music? Yeah. You talking that stuff too, Smash? Yeah. It's all called Testimony. Sundays, 11 till noon, as you're heading to your church's late service, or as you're coming out of early service and heading on over to Cracker Barrel. It's the People's Praise Party, your Sunday morning smash at your service. Here on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Are you ready to sell your house, but you don't know who to trust with the listing? I'm Tammy Mitchell-Hines, and I sell a house every 30 hours in the Metro East. From staging your house to filling out all of the paperwork, my team is here to guide you step by step through the process of selling your house and getting the most value from it. Serving in Monroe, St. Clair, and Madison counties in Illinois. Go to calltammy.com and let us do the work for you. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Just go to calltammy.com.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Larry Elder tonight at 5 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning this morning. This is Allman in the morning, and it's 6:27. And coming up, we have Jim Carafano at 6:35. And also our discussion of Joe Biden. You saw him up there on the screen during the break if you were watching the Facebook page. Because I'm getting around to Joe Biden, believe me. Because now he's seriously going to be running, it looks like. And so we're going to have a little fun with that. Lynn Patton also, I didn't give you her answer to all of this, and I'll do that for you in just a second. I want to get to my old buddy, Steamfitter Chris, who's calling into the show. Steamfitter Chris on line 1 on the calltammy.com hotline. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, my man? The Common Sense Crusader is back on the airwaves.
I know, wouldn't you know? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been 9 months, but it has. But we're back, brother, and I appreciate your support so much. If you guys don't know Steamfitter Chris, he's a good old-fashioned, awesome tradesman over in the Metro East. We still haven't gone fishing. I know, we'll do it. But Steamfitter Chris is a lifelong Democrat, but also a conservative Democrat. And he and I have a lot of great conversations about what's going on. So how are you feeling about the economy these days, by the way?
Pretty awesome, bro. Pretty awesome. But I appreciate everything you're doing out there. And a lot of people ask me, because they hear me on the radio when I come in, and they go, man, how do you how do you listen to Jamie? I said, because there's a lot of common sense. I said, but right now it's hard for me to be a Democrat or a Republican. I can't. Pelosi and Schumer and those guys, my wife and I sit and watch the news every afternoon. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we cannot be the smartest people in this room. What the hell is wrong with you guys?
Yeah. Well, hey, brother, listen, I appreciate you calling the show. I'm up against a hard break, as they say.
Hey,
but
welcome back, brother. I'll call in later.
Say hi to everybody at the hall, and I always appreciate you, man. We're going to get together sooner or later. That's Steve Fitter, Chris. Thanks a lot. Thanks a ton. Jimmy Carafano on the way, talking about North Korea from the Heritage Foundation, and Bryce Harper signing a monster deal, but what does it mean for taxes?
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump says he had no choice but to walk away from his second summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un because Kim demanded the U.S. lift all of its sanctions in exchange for just limited nuclear disarmament. That's a claim the North rejects. The president says there is a lot at stake as he negotiates a series of trade deals with some of America's biggest trading partners, including China. Tomorrow, the president will address the Conservative Political Action Conference in suburban Washington. Today, Vice President Pence to address CPAC. Please reconsider the plea of a group of New York City business, political, and civic leaders, and making the plea to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, urging him to reconsider the decision to abandon plans for a headquarters in New York City. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures up 175 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Human is going to let my listeners try SuperBeets risk-free for 90 days. Just go to elderbeats.com and take advantage of this great offer. Plus, if you click right now, you'll get a 30-day supply free with your first purchase. SuperBeets will even pay shipping and handling. Go to elderbeats.com and take advantage of this risk-free trial. Customer pays cost of return. The health of your heart is way too important, so call 800-996-3406, 800-996-3406, or go to elderbeats.com right now. You'll be glad you did.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still looking very nice out there for this Friday morning. We certainly can't complain. No accidents, no delays. Got a couple of roadwork projects that have popped up today. Right lane closed on 6440 eastbound at the Poplar Street Bridge until 4 o'clock. And 141 southbound, you'll see roadwork there from 6440 to Manchester until 2:30. We also have construction in the right lane on the ramp from northbound 55 to the eastbound Poplar Street Bridge until 4 o'clock. But everything else right now is looking very good. Traffic is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow on Sunday. Accumulating 2 to 4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dennis Prager explains what we're up against.
Within days, we reported on this show that it was very suspect, this whole report.
Beaten with a noose around his neck and hospitalized.
They're going to announce that he is an abomination. They lie because they don't even care about the truth.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Did you know that every dollar you put into a piece of real estate makes you money 5 ways? Cash flow, money in your pocket each month. Equity capture, the thousands of dollars you create when you have the right team and buy the right property using the right map. Appreciation, real estate doubles in value about every 20 years. Equity buildup, renters pay down your mortgage each month. And finally, the tax advantage. We pay almost no taxes on our cash flow and capital gains.
These are the 5 ways we make money in real estate, which is why real estate accounts for more millionaires in the world today than any other investment vehicle. You should have some real estate in your portfolio. To learn how, attend one of our free workshops. Call 866-971-8970 or go to 5wayswemakemoney.com and register for the next available workshop. That's 866-971-8970 or go to 5wayswemakemoney.com.
I regularly hear stories of companies cutting the commissions of their outside salespeople. Has that happened to you? Or maybe you've had accounts taken from you and given to another salesperson to level the playing field. I've never understood those who penalize top sellers when they've become too successful. If you're a good salesperson, especially if you're in media sales, then I want to talk to you. I'm Lori Vernier, local sales manager for Salem STL Radio. I believe in the work I'm doing, but more importantly, this company believes in its people. Last year, Salem Media Group, our parent company, was voted one of the national best and brightest companies to work for. And for the past 2 years, we were voted a great place to work by our employees. If you'd like to join my sales team, drop me an email at jobs@salemstl.com. That's jobs@salemstl.com.
The station is owned and operated by Salem Media Group and is an equal opportunity employer.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, it's Dana Lash heading your way this afternoon at 1. The Dana Show's coming up on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning this morning. 844-855-1380 is the calltammy.com phone line, but I'll be taking your phone calls probably more towards the 645 area. And at 7 o'clock, oh yeah, it's going to be Joe Biden time because Joe says he's running. So we're going to follow up on that. And plus, I mentioned Bryce Harper on the way out of here, and there's actually a common sense conservative angle to the Bryce Harper signing, and I'm going to have that for you as well. Man, that Lori Vernier is becoming a local media celebrity. I hear her on The Answer all the time. I think Lori and her pot-bellied pigs need their own show. Lori Vernier is one of the premier salespeople here at The Answer, and I really appreciate her. Yesterday, all the great people on the team brought in some champagne, and we had Margaret Sharp's awesome cake. Thank you, Margaret, for the cake. And we had Shiloh, and we had Greg, and we had Lori, and we had Aaron, and we had Joey. We had Phil. I'm going to put some pictures up on Facebook today. I just haven't had a lot of time. And so it was Lily's birthday yesterday. And so Lily and I and the rest of the family celebrated Max Foisey's birthday. So it was it was busy all around. Hey, by the way, we're back to, I don't know whether you recognize this music, but that used to be Jim Carafano's intro music. And so remember that? And Jim used to have, it's Grigori 3. They're awesome. And it just so happens that Gwen is going to have her own show eventually, I guarantee you, but we'll follow up on that. Jimmy Carafano joining us from beautiful Washington, D.C. And Jimmy, how are you, friend?
It's an empty, shallow, hollow, dead place with Bryce Harper moving on. Yeah, it's great, man.
I know. You know, it's funny because, you know, he almost went to the Giants, but California's tax structure was so oppressive that there was no way it was economical for him to do so. And now he's at Philly. So that's going to be, it's too bad, man, because the Nationals, you guys really loved old Bryce Harper, didn't you?
And why couldn't he go to, like, the Tokyo Bumblebees or something? You know, just leave the country.
The Tokyo Bumblebees.
So.
Yeah.
Philadelphia? Really? Philadelphia? Oh.
I know. And actually, they're becoming, they're a force to be reckoned with. If you're a baseball fan, you know that. So
I understand Dennis Rodman needs a roommate for his timeshare in Pyongyang. Bryce could go there.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
You know, it was really, this whole trip was so fascinating, and And of course, I haven't talked to you. I didn't have any kind of debrief with you before you went on the air, so I don't know what your opinion is about the outcome. But I do know that it was indeed reminiscent of Ronald Reagan in 1986 in Reykjavik, where he said, listen, I'm not going to leave here. I'd rather leave here with no deal than a deal that isn't sufficient. So what's your take on the outcome?
Well, I think in some ways it's better than Reykjavik, because at Reykjavik, there was a real question whether anything was going to happen after that. I mean, the Russians left. George Shultz was furious with Reagan. He said, dude, you walked away from this deal. And nobody knew if the Russians would ever even come back. In this case, the diplomatic track is well established, and even the North Koreans left saying, we're committed to this diplomacy. So it's very clear that this is, one stop in the negotiation. It's not the end of anything. So in some ways, it's more productive and constructive than Reykjavik was. So actually, look, Trump kind of outperformed Ronald Reagan today, this week.
Wow. That's not the take that I'm hearing in the mainstream, and I guess it's all determined by whether or not you hate Trump or not. But you Heritage Foundation, you guys are apolitical, and you assess things based on policy, and that was a pretty strong statement you just made there.
Look, I have probably the best North Korea analyst in the world. He's been doing it for almost 40 years now, including a career in the Defense Intelligence and Central Intelligence Agency, where he was the lead analyst or one of the lead analysts on North Korea. And he's been at Heritage for over a decade, routinely meets with the North Koreans, the South Koreans, Japanese, U.S. officials. And I have a terrific young analyst that works on Korea who's actually in Hanoi for the summit. And they are not, they are not Trump fans. And particularly Bruce Klinger, who's great. I mean, he is a very traditional guy, and he doesn't like all this unconventional everything else. And so when they look at this, if anything, their willingness is to be more skeptical of anything that Trump does, and they'd be the first. And they said, look, this was a good outcome. That no deal was a good deal because it was better than a bad deal.
I'm curious when you say, I don't want to get too much into the weeds on this, but when you say that some of these folks and they're not Trump fans, is it that they don't like him, or they're just not they're not fans of anybody? You know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of analysts in Washington, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, they're very uncomfortable with the president's kind of unconventional statesmanship, right? And which is probably the most universal understatement on the entire planet, right? He just does not approach things the way any other statesman does. And many people have a hard time getting past that. And we've talked about this before. My approach is always to do the opposite. I don't listen to Trump. I put blinders on all this stuff, all the criticism, his tweets, everything. I look at the actual policies and the outcome of the policies. And then I can look at the comments and everything in context. But I think we start with the policy, and then you look at the rhetoric. It's a much more fruitful way to come at things. I just saw somebody yesterday, and here's their criticism. Trump said he was going to seal a deal, so obviously this is a big failure, right? Well, look, so that person is completely obsessing about Trump's rhetoric and ignoring what he actually accomplished, right? And I'm like, that is the most superficial way to look at things. The result is the North Koreans came. They wanted to challenge Trump. They thought they could get him off the sanctions. If they had lifted the 5 sanctions that they wanted, that was the core of the sanctions regime. Essentially, North Korea would have complete access to the world, do anything they wanted, and in return for that, they would have given us a handful of crap that they've actually given past U.S. presidents before, and then just reneged on it. So again, you remember back in the good old days in the election, we said the supporters took him seriously but not literally, and the critics took him literally but not seriously. That has not changed in 3 years.
Yeah, right. So now, technically, from a foreign policy standpoint, Does this then go past the president? So the president's done his work, and now is it Pompeo who picks it up, or is the president still fully and completely personally engaged, or how does that work?
Great question, because the only person that can make a deal for North Korea is Kim, right? So unlike almost any other country where, everybody can negotiate the deal and then the leaders just come in and sign the paper, Kim has to personally approve everything. So at the end of the day, Kim and Trump are going to have to seal the deal. So they'll go back to the negotiating table and everything, but they're going to have to come back to another summit. And the two leaders are going to have to meet again if there is any other progress. And the challenge now for both sides is, okay, the North Koreans realize they just can't put the same old stuff on the table, but they don't want to, do everything and then just hope for something on the back end. So what's the way there? I am, and you know me, nobody has been more skeptical and critical of the North Korea and its Yahoo leaders than I am, but I am open to the notion that this leader might actually want to do something different for his country. And at the end of the day, he might actually trade away his nuclear program. And Trump's whole diplomacy was to test that proposition. And I think he's actually been testing it in the right way. If it's not true, then I think Trump's exactly right. We've got the pressure campaign in place. We just, isolate North Korea forever. But if it is true, it gives the North Koreans a different option and a different path of the way out. So I think the president's actually been exactly right on this one.
Interesting, Jim. So in your assessment of Kim's willingness or the possibility he could give up his nuclear program, why would he do that? Like, what would be his motivation? Is it just simply because he's having so many problems domestically, or what would be his motivation here?
His motivation would to actually make a better life for his people. That would be his motivation. And you may say, why would he do that? Because for 3 generations, no North Korean leader has ever thought that was something they needed to do. Their only goal in life was to have complete control and to unite the two Koreas under their leadership. And this leader has suggested that maybe he is okay, that making a better life for his people is actually more important than trying to unify the two countries.
Interesting. Now, let me ask you this then. Do you think, because of what a great salesman and promoter of fun that Donald Trump happens to be, do you think that there was actually some real conversation about that? Like, do you think the president, when he sat down with Kim Jong-un, said, man, listen, you know what? You could be so popular and you could have so much fun if your people just loved you, and because look at what, I don't know whether you've ever seen my rallies before, but you could live like that. You could have a life like that. Instead of making people salute you, you'll have people saluting you anyway if you just give them a better life. I mean, do you think he really had real conversations with him about that? Because I bet he did.
If Kim has kind of made that crossover to truly being interested in the future of his people and figuring out a way to get beyond kind of a third century feudal state, I don't think that's a sale that Trump needed to make. What Trump needed to do, and what I think that he's been trying to do, is to actually convince Kim that Trump is a partner and that they can trust him, and not that you should do this, but that you can trust me to help you do this. I think the challenge now, I mean, there's 2. One is, is Kim actually willing to do that? The other is, and this is a calculation you have to make, is Trump still going to be there in 2 years, right? Because why, as a leader of North Korea, because when I liberalize my country, I'm going to put myself at risk. Why should I risk doing that if the guy that said, I've got your back, is going to be gone in 2 years?
Right. Yeah. It seemed to me, and I was really paying attention to the body language, because I'm so I'm not very smart when it comes to policy, but I figure I can at least look at somebody's face and see what's going on. And so it seemed to me that Kim had a certain level of admiration of President Trump. I think he was a little mystified by this big personality.
Well, you have to remember the North Koreans went into this, and we've got lots of evidence for that. I mean, they talked to the Iranians, they talked to other people. It's pretty clear that the North Koreans went into this with the presumption that Trump can be played, right? That he'll do a deal just to do a deal,
right? And
if the North Koreans put a deal on the table and threaten to walk, that Trump will sign the deal. That was, and they wanted to test that, and so they were testing President. It's very clear they come away with a very different appreciation. I thought it was very interesting is they did not storm out of the room and say we're going to go back to nuclear testing, or they very clearly worked very hard to kind of keep the diplomatic door open, which I think that's a very, very different response than we've seen before.
Yeah, I was fascinated by it. I was wondering whether or not your analysts for 40 years have been. I just couldn't believe I'd ever see in a million years a meeting where you have these cold people from North Korea meeting with the president. I just never thought that would happen, and yet, boy, there you are. It's amazing. I was impressed.
I'm mystified, and I've only been dealing with this. It was the first assignment I ever had when I was commissioned in the Army. I was on the DMZ in Korea, so I've only been dealing with this my entire adult life. So, and we've talked before. My dad fought in the Korean War, so I have kind of a personal, emotional commitment to this situation that I've lived with my entire life, and I've never seen anything like this.
Wow, that's the forgotten.
It really does. I have this little tiny spark of kind of faith in humanity and this is the thing that really angers me about the critics and everything else about North Korea could never become Vietnam. This guy, he can never be anything other and then all that might be true, right? North Korea, but what you're doing is you're denying human beings agency. You're saying that there is no hope for freedom and liberty and for people to change, that there's no contrition. And I just think the worst thing you can do in foreign policy is to just treat the other side like an inanimate object and just assume that the people that live in that country have no agency and no control over those. Look at Venezuela. I mean, the people of Venezuela are literally standing up and taking control of their own life back from a government that said you had no right to do that. We were talking about this the other day with the Russians. It's amazing how the Soviet Union had occupied these things for generations, and the second that people had a chance, they went back and stood up for their country and for freedom. So I just think assuming that the North Korean people are just bumpkins are going to just sit there and live with this forever, and they don't want to change, and that their leaders would never change, and that the country could never be anything other than it is, I just think that's a shameful way to think about humanity.
I just love it when you get so cuddly over foreign policy, Jim Carafano. I just want to give you a big hug because you make us all feel so good.
We have lots of nuclear weapons, so if they try anything, we'll kill them all.
I know. No, but you make us all you make us feel so positive about very menacing things, and it's true. You're looking for that light, and it's there. It's just that at least you're looking for it because we know it's there. And I love talking to you about stuff like this. So, Jimmy, and by the way, thank you for coming on. And I don't know whether you realize this or not, but, you are on now. I'm on terrestrial radio now. This is the Allman in the Morning Show on terrestrial radio. I hope you know that. I'm on.
There's people listening to us? It's not just you and me talking on the phone? What?
I'm just saying, it's the other, we had the Facebook and the stream and everything else, and now Salem Media, and they're the guys, you know some of the people over there at Town Hall and Hot Air and those folks and Regularly Publishing, and that's who I'm working for now. So you're on this radio show with me. Yeah, brother.
It's awesome to have you back, brother.
Hey, it's
all right, man.
Great to be back, and Jimmy Carafano, thanks a ton, man.
All right, talk to you soon.
Okay, you too. I love that guy. Don't you guys like him? I love talking about this stuff. He's a good man. Has been with me for, golly, almost 10 years now, going on 10 years. I think I did an interview with him one time, and I got a break here for a second. I did an interview with him one time about something random, And immediately, the minute I talked to him, I was like, I got to have that guy on as a regular, and the rest is history right there. All right. Go ahead and give us a call on the calltammy.com. I'm going to get this right one of these days. Calltammy.com hotline. It's 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380. And also don't forget to download the app to stream us at theanswerstl.com. This is Allman in the Morning.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's a pretty great-looking Friday morning so far. We're not looking at any accidents, no delays, no stalls. We do have roadwork projects that have popped up, though. Right lane closed on 6440 eastbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. That's until 4 o'clock today. And we also have roadwork in the right lane on the ramp from northbound 55 to the eastbound Poplar Street Bridge. That's until 4. 141 southbound 6440 to Manchester. You'll see construction in place there until 2:30. And 9 to 3 roadwork on eastbound and westbound 44 between Vanderventer and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's easier to change the world than you think. Sponsor a child in extreme poverty with Compassion International, and you will change the world for that child. Just text the word child to 83393 to sponsor right now.
I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Joshua's Trail.
David, welcome to Joshua's Trail.
We can appreciate our country more if we look at, say, unfortunate circumstances in other countries, like the president of the Philippines, Duterte, has recently said that he will resign if anyone can provide evidence that God exists.
Oh, my goodness.
He was elected mayor of Davao on the shoot-to-kill policy.
Joshua's Trail, Saturday mornings from 7 to 9 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great. Since you're going to buy a boat, you need a hitch. And oh, what about a floor liner? Let's keep it looking nice. You are ready. Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. This is their 20th year selling top brand products for trucks like yours. Bug shields, step bars, and bed liners. See John and the crew off Highway 50 at 1354 Frontage Road or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now get free installation on step bars for your truck only at Custom Car and Truck.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245. Or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Attention gun enthusiasts. Interested in purchasing a suppressor, but worried the new gun laws might make it a tough process? Razorback Armory in Des Peres is your home for the new Silencer Shop kiosk system. No need to go to several locations to prepare for your application, photo submissions, and fingerprint cards. Still have questions? Razorback Armory has answers. Visit the pros at Razorback Armory in Des Peres, just east of 270 on Manchester. RazorbackArmory.com.
Smash here, St. Louis, Sundays, 11 a.m. till noon, right here on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. I'll be bringing you the People's Praise Party. Smash playing Jesus music? Yeah. You talking that stuff too, Smash? Yeah. It's all called testimony. Sundays, 11 till noon as you're heading to your church's late service or as you're coming out of early service and heading on over to Cracker Barrel. It's the People's Praise Party, your Sunday morning smash at your service. Here on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Curtains, shades, blinds, shutters. What are the best for living rooms or bedrooms? Hey, it's Allman from Allman in the Morning. I want to tell you about the quality customized service you will receive when you call my friend Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home or business. Michael has served our St. Louis area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery Drapery, Blind, Shades, and Shutters. He's also the top-tier Hunter Douglas Priority Dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation Shutters. Those are beautiful. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. So cut down on the risk of error. Schedule your appointment today with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Call Tammy.com listener line.
On the radio with me, Joe Walsh, tonight at 8 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Sorry, Joe. Call Tammy.com listener line 844-855-1380. What do you think about Joe Biden in the offing here? He's ready to rock, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. He was seeking advice from young people to reach out to young people, and we'll kind of have a little fun with that too. Also down the line, Bryce Harper. There's a common sense conservative angle to him signing up with the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm going to tell you about that too. And yes, your phone calls. And don't forget to download us, the app on theanswerstl.com. This is Allman in the Morning.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Some of the leading lights of the modern conservative movement gathered this week in suburban Washington for the annual CPAC conference. There's much talk about the hard left turn taken by the Democrat Party versus the economic success of the Trump administration, the benefits of capitalism over socialism.
3% growth as far as the eye can see. It's the hottest economy in the world. And I'll let the ankle biters just bite our ankles.
White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow. Later this morning, Vice President Pence takes the CPAC stage. Tomorrow, it will be President Trump's turn to speak. And the president, speaking the other day at a military base in Alaska, says he's bullish on fully funding the military.
We've increased your budget from not too much to $700 billion. And then from $700 billion, we went up to $716 billion. And I won't tell you this year's surprise, but the generals are going to be very happy when they hear, because it's going up yet again. Because we have no choice. You know, I'm a cost cutter, but we have no choice. Without a military, what do we have?
The president stopped in Alaska on his way back to Washington from Hanoi and his summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Now, the floodwaters receding in California wine country, but not before causing a lot of damage, claiming at least one life. 5 counties under a state of emergency declared by Governor Gavin Newsom. Thousands of buildings, both homes and businesses, were swamped by the high waters. There have been mudslides, and 2 communities were completely cut off. The flood-battered region may not be out of the woods just yet. There is more rain in the forecast. Pakistani officials have brought a captured Indian pilot to a border crossing with India for a handover, a gesture of peace promised by the Pakistani Prime Minister. Wall Street stock futures pointing to a higher open. Right now, Dow futures up 179 points. S&P futures better by 17. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
We're starting out wide open today. No accidents, no delays. We do have some construction out there, as we usually do. We've got road work on 70 eastbound. The exit from eastbound 70 to Madison remains closed with construction until the end of September. We also have a right lane closed on 44 westbound 270 to Bowles. That one closed until 2021. That's what we call long-term. And 44 westbound, 2 lanes closed Jameson to Shrewsbury. That's until the 1st of July. Traffic is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer. Stand Up to Cancer is a groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that will get new therapies to patients quickly and save lives now. Visit standuptocancer.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow on Sunday. Accumulating 2 to 4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
When you listen to the Ed Martin movement, you never know who's going to drop in.
We worked together in 2009, 2010. Roy Blunt was then running for the Senate for his first term, and we're at the Phyllis Schlafly Center in Washington, D.C. He won, I lost, and it's been all downhill for him. That's what I can say.
Exactly.
Welcome.
And here you are at the Schlafly Center in Washington, D.C. with your own radio show.
Well, let me tell
who lost and who won.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Tune in to the Ed Martin movement weekdays from 3 to 5 to find out who's dropping in next.
I'm native to St. Louis and particularly endeared to the small businessman like Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Old Town Fenton. Their specialty, their huge selection of handguns, sporting firearms, fishing equipment, and archery. Denny Dennis's trained staff always make sure that you are fitted with the right handgun or sports equipment. Another attraction? Their museum of hunted game from around the world. Denny Dennis Sporting Goods with everyday low prices. Like Denny Dennis on Facebook to see their current specials. And make sure to tell Denny that Dana sent you.
Are you looking for your dream home, but it doesn't seem to exist? You've tried to figure it out on your own, but don't know what step to take next? Don't worry. I'm Tammy, owner of Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company, and my team and I are ready to help ease that stress. My team serves Monroe, St. Clair, and Madison counties in Illinois. So go to calltammy.com to set up your stress-free appointment today. Give me an idea of what you're looking for, and we will do the rest. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Just go to calltammy.com.
Hello, St. Louis. Join me, James Enstall, every Sunday at 1 p.m. for Geek to Me Radio right here on The Answer.
I'll bring you the latest pop culture news, fun giveaways, and of course, the best celebrity guests across the greatest fandoms like. Today, we're talking to KISS bassist and entrepreneur extraordinaire Gene Simmons.
But I'll never forget the day Stan and the band, we took fresh blood from our veins and stuck it into the red ink in the Marvel comics.
That's Geek to Me Radio, brought to you by Historic St. Charles. Plan your trip now. Go to discoverstcharles.com for an historically good time.
He's back.
Yes, he's back.
Allman in the morning.
Don't adjust your radio.
On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Yes, he's back. Yes, he's back. Yes, he's back. Yes, he's back.
Good morning. Absolutely beautiful Friday as we head into a weekend of perhaps 6 inches of snow. CallTammy.com listener line is 844-855-1380. I'd love to hear from you about what you think about the prospects of another Joe Biden coming out and deciding that he is going to run for president of the United States. And are you ready for another Joe? Because let me tell you something, folks. When it comes to what Joe's all about, he's all about himself. And he is ready to rock. And he has said that he's going to be running and that he's thinking about it. And he's asking people, hey, how do I reach out to young people? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And Joe is too old as far as I'm concerned. I have nothing against old people, but the fact of the matter is, man, is this what the Democrat Party has for the United States of America? Is this guy the party of diversity? By the way, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Mark my words, all we're doing right now is waiting for the next Walter Mondale. So we're wondering whether Kamala Harris is going to be the Walter Mondale, or whether Cory Booker is going to be the Walter Mondale, or whether Joe Biden's going to be the next Walter Mondale, because I'm telling you, listen, I'm not an expert in numbers. I don't know everything there is to know about elections. I was a Trump supporter from the very start, and I did believe he was going to win the election. In fact, I'm on paper. Doug Giles actually printed an article of mine during the primaries where I said, I don't know who you guys think you're kidding, but there's not a chance that Americans now are ready to rock with another Republican. It's just not going to happen. And so that was when the field was still full. And I said, Trump is going to be the guy. And that's because Americans are not in the mood for a Democrat or a traditional Republican, and this is going to be happening. And in fact, it was one of those interesting situations where I believed that President Trump, that's how I kind of got into a conversation with Steamfitter Chris, who called into the show earlier. Steamfitter Chris is a tradesman, a lifelong Democrat, and actually didn't wind up voting for Trump. But nonetheless, he and I had a lot of discussions about the economy, and we saw the writing on the wall. There was a whole group of individuals who were just being ignored by the Republican Party, by some so-called conservatives. They were getting us involved in trade deals that were throwing the American worker under the bus. And there was a possibility sometimes when we talked about trade deals that if we talked about free trade not being fair trade, we were written off as heretics. We were people who were not true conservatives. So you kind of had the National Review Republicans all over you, and some of the Never Trump folks out there who tried to shame us as people who vote Republican, by the way, who tried to shame us into coming back to the reservation, and by scaring us and intimidating us and calling us, oh, you're no conservative, you're no this, you're no that, because you're not for free trade. But the argument that we made, and it was made by only a few people. I think Laura Ingraham was originally kind of on that train. And of course, I have a lot of respect for her, where she pointed out that if it's not fair trade, it's not free trade. And so we had a lot of people, both Republican and Democrat, who were only serving their globalist masters. No, I'm not one of these conspiracy theorists about the Pentaverate and the Queen, and that's not what I'm talking about. But when you use the term globalist, it is true. There are people who are only looking towards deals that are helping multinational corporations. And again, I have nothing against multinational corporations, but I have something against them when they are calling the shots when it comes to trade deals. And now, keep in mind, there are ups and downs of renegotiating trade deals, but keep in mind also that once the president retooled NAFTA, which is what Democrats were saying all along needed to happen anyway, but they just didn't do anything about it. Once he renegotiated some of these deals, you saw the opening of the economic lines to the forgotten, to the people like Steamfitter Chris and to the tradespeople out there who are being left behind. I'll never forget reading an article in the National Review, and this was during the primary campaign, and this was by a person named something Williamson. Now I've forgotten his name, and he's kind of gone off the radar, as a lot of these never-Trumper people have. I haven't seen George Will in months. I don't know what's happened. Every once in a while, his coffin will creak open, and he'll pop off about Trump, but that's about it. But But he wrote an article about how, and you guys have heard me talk about this before, but it really boiled my blood, where they were talking about how the blue collar cities and communities must necessarily die. And they told us, you guys have been living high off the hog on all these, contracts, and you're making shoes that are too expensive, and you're making faucets that are too expensive, and you're making all these things that are too expensive, and so you deserve to go away because Americans want cheap goods, and we're going to keep going overseas for them, and there's no hope for you people. You might as well go ahead and get a job at a call center. And the reality is that manufacturing was not dead, that the Republicans and Democrats who gave up on manufacturing were wrong. It was possible to rebuild the blue-collar economic infrastructure of this country. And gradually, guess what? It's happening. And you saw yesterday reports. It's so funny how we all have different interpretations of what the latest economic figures show us about the GDP and everything else. And it was clearly the economic forecasters predicted a slow growth, much slower than it's happening now. And yet, the Drudge Report and some others were like, wow, it's far below expectations. Like, no, it wasn't far. It was above expectations. And now we're looking at a 3.1% GDP over the past year. That's sizable. That was a prediction made by President Trump. And that's when President Obama came out and said, there's no magic wand. You don't have a magic wand? It's like, the hell I don't. And the magic wand is strong policy. It's not magic by any stretch. It's hard to come by, but it's strong economic policies that are low taxes. Unfortunately, we haven't been cutting our spending, so that's going to create some problems down the line. And retooling these trade deals. At the same time, we have some of our esteemed Republicans and other individuals, surprisingly Mike Lee and Roy Blunt and these individuals who are supporting the expansion now, and I'm moving on to white-collar workers now, who are supporting the expansion of these H-1B visas where they're just simply importing cheap labor from China and India to compete with white-collar workers who are in the technical fields, who are graduating from Rolla with technical degrees or going to the technical schools or learning coding or whatever. They're suddenly having to compete possibly with yet more foreign people who are shipped in here to compete with them by their own government. That doesn't make any sense. And so Roy Blunt and these guys are out of their trees, and I'll have to get him on the air eventually if you just get back to us, Maxie. We'll have him on. He hasn't really returned my call ever since the days of 97.1, but we'll see if we can get him back on again. It doesn't make any sense. And you should not have your own government competing with you. CallTammy.com listener line is 844-855-1380. So anyway, these individuals like Joe Biden, these people who brag about, I've been around a long time. It's like, that's a bad news to us. When you boast that you've been around a long time, we don't like that. I've been in the Senate for 45 years. I said, that's a problem. Like when that one congressman, I forgot his name, died at the age of 90-something, and he'd been in Congress for 50 years. That's inexcusable. And guess what? He took over the seat from his dad. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I think what happened is when he retired or whatever from Congress, his wife took the position. His wife filled in for him. I'm like, what kind of this is not the republic that we're trying to work on improving. And this guy's so to brag about being, so Biden has been part of the problem. And that's why President Trump would so easily beat him, because all he's got to do is ask Biden, how long have you been in the U.S. Senate and in politics? And Biden will brag about it. And that'll be the next Trump commercial, because Americans don't like that. And Americans remember you. They remember where you were as a Republican or where you were as a Democrat when we needed you the most. And what you were doing, you were cutting deals with multinational corporations and throwing American workers under the bus. You were supporting Democrats like Hillary Clinton and Bill, who'd go over to India and promise them they were going to create this amazing new way of importing labor from India and China. And I have nothing against a person from India or China, except when they're brought in here to compete with my neighbor. Then I've got problems with you. And when you're brought in here under the guise of you being smarter than Americans, which is a lie, by the way, then I'm even more upset about the whole deal. Because the fact of the matter is these people from India and China are not smarter than American workers. In fact, there have been studies that show they're even less educated than American workers. They're just cheap labor. And everybody wants to keep their costs down. I understand that. You don't want to just simply artificially prop up the labor. But the fact of the matter is the American government should not be purposely competing against its own citizens just to help out the corporations in their bottom line. It doesn't work that way. 844-855-1380. So now Joe says he's going to be running. Or maybe. He's actually, they're really, I have no question. There's no question Joe's going to run. Here's the reason why I believe there is no question. At first, I was worried that Michelle Obama would pop out of nowhere and possibly run, because everybody else is so crazy. The Democratic Party has turned so far left that somebody who appears to be normal, somebody who appears to be like Joe Biden or Michelle Obama would be akin to Marilyn Munster. If you really want to size it up that way, they're looking for that normal person, because all the others are all crazy people who are running the party and hijacking the party. Now, I'm not looking out for the Democrat Party. I'm not going to give them, I'm not here to give them advice. But at some point, of course, you're going to have a Joe Biden pop in, because people are begging him to run. Because these other people who are supporting the Green Deal and who are, talking about the Jesse Smollett being the poster boy for what is entrenched racism in this country and buying into all that nonsense. Then you got a guy like Joe Biden, who actually sometimes comes across as pretty sensible for a Democrat, and he looks even smarter now because he just looks normal. But he's still going to get his butt kicked in 2020 if he runs. I'm just telling you.
No, I'm being completely honest with you, because I can, John, it's a fair question. I can die a happy man never having lived in the White House, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to take people's time, effort, and commitment without there being a clear shot that I could be the nominee. I think we can. I think that's where we are, but there's still a couple hurdles to go through to make sure we have all this in place. And if we conclude that, I would announce and I'd run for president. But no.
Yeah, they're begging him. They're begging him to
I'm not
run.
there yet. I don't want to mislead you. I'm being more straightforward. Yeah. Look, no one's ever doubted I mean what I say. The problem is I sometimes say all that I mean. And so this has to be, we're in the final stages of that decision, but it would be the greatest honor of my life to be president of the United States. But also it's something that I have to make sure that I could run a first-rate effort to do this and make clear.
Yeah, we're going to have to cue the music now, because you just heard Joe Biden that he's going to run, and he was seeking advice on how to reach out to young people. And so my suggestion when Joe Biden runs, and when he asked me, how can I reach out to young people and get them involved? Because they're all loving Ocasio-Cortez. And I just say, hey, Joe, here's what you need to do to reach out to young people, is when you do reach out to them, don't touch them. Because we've seen you at the swearing in of the U.S. senators. Yeah, with your certs in your mouth and your Kent and bourbon breath. Oh, yeah. Coming up to the girls there. Hey, I know you're 12, but I'm Joe Biden. Can I rub your shoulders? While Dad is getting sworn in? Have you seen the videos of him? Of touchy Joe Biden? In this day and age, in the Me Too movement, all you need is just to loop the video, and you have another pro-Trump commercial. We'll see how this whole thing shells out, but we're just waiting for the next Walter Mondale, that's all. Looking at our watches, waiting for 2020. CallTammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380. Don't forget to download the app to listen to us on the stream, theanswerstl.com. I really feel a little dirty, though, Phil, to tell you the truth, because I should have had some other kind of cheesy romantic music, because it would have been better, because this isn't cheesy romantic music. This is Miles Davis and John Coltrane, so I really feel bad about ruining probably one of my most favorite jazz songs ever by doing a Joe Biden certs in the mouth, Kent breath, bourbon breath, squeeze the shoulders of a 12-year-old girl bit. So forgive me, Miles Davis. Forgive me, John Coltrane. Forgive me, the Lords of Music. I just did that. I own it. I know. I understand. 844-855-1380. This is Allman in the Morning.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, we did have that one delay for just a New York minute. Now it's gone. So right now we're clear. We have no accidents and no delays, but we do have construction projects that are out there. We've got road work closing a right lane on 6440 eastbound on the Poplar Street Bridge until 4 o'clock today. And you'll see construction in the right lane on the ramp from northbound 55 to the eastbound Poplar Street Bridge, also until 4 o'clock today. Midday work 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between 109 and Lindbergh. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Do you consider yourself as the expert in your industry? Do others in the community consider you to be the expert in your line of business? There's an affordable way to position your company as the expert. I'm Lori Vernier, Sales Manager for 1380 AM The Answer and Salem Media St. Louis. Let us help you bring your brand to life. You know your business, and we know how to build an effective and engaging radio show with both on-air and online distribution. Grow your business by enhancing your credibility and branding yourself as the market expert in your field, positioning you above your competitors. Let's work together to help make you the expert St. Louisans turn to for information in your industry. Contact me, Lori Vernier, at theanswerstl.com, and we can discuss bringing your brand to life with your own radio program.
If you love radio as much as we do, then why don't you join us by having your own show? Just go to theanswerstl.com and click Contact Us at the bottom of the page.
This station owned and operated by Salem Media Group.
I regularly hear stories of companies cutting the commissions of their outside salespeople. Has that happened to you? Or maybe you've had accounts taken from you and given to another salesperson to level the playing field. I've never understood those who penalize top sellers when they've become too successful. If you're a good salesperson, especially if you're in media sales, then I want to talk to you. I'm Lori Vernier, local sales manager for Salem STL Radio. I believe in the work I'm doing, but more importantly, this company believes in its people. Last year, Salem Media Group, our parent company, was voted one of the national best and brightest companies to work for. And for the past 2 years, we were voted a great place to work by our employees. If you'd like to join my sales team, drop me an email at jobs@salemstl.com. That's jobs@salemstl.com.
The station is owned and operated by Salem Media Group and is an equal opportunity employer.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Larry Elder, weekdays at 5 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning. Happy Friday to all of you. This is All in the Morning right here on The Answer. 1380 and 105.3. Hope you guys are able to tune in. If you want to use the app, it's easily accessible right there at theanswerstl.com. You can download the app and check us out that way. Your phone calls are welcome on the calltammy.com listener line, 844-855-1380. Coming up, we have the great Doug Giles. He's going to be joining us, and he's got a ton to share with us about what's happening around the world. I have a few stories to tell you about as it relates to the employees at Sonic. Apparently, this made national news after these guys all decided to put signs on the doors of the Sonics and walk out and close it. I don't know about you, but when you and I were working, I don't know what you were doing as a job, whatever, whether you worked at Frank and Helen's like I did or Telena's or whatever, would there ever be a time in your life where if you had some kind of beef with your employer that you would put a sign on the door and close the place? I mean, never in a million years. But now, because we have all these snowflakes out there who are trained to believe that that they can close restaurants by just simply putting signs on the door, it's unbelievable, but that's happening. Also, there is a common sense conservative angle, yes there is, to the Bryce Harper deal in Philadelphia. We'll talk about that. And also, I know you don't come here to hear snippets from The View, but I think you got to hear this one as Joy Behar completely flips out over President Trump. All that straight ahead. This is Allman in the Morning.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Some of the leading lights of the conservative movement gathered in suburban Washington this week for the annual CPAC conference. Later this morning, Vice President Pence will take the CPAC stage. Tomorrow, it will be President Trump's turn to speak. The president says he had no choice but to leave the summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un without a deal because the North demanded a lifting of all sanctions while offering only limited nuclear disarmament. The floodwaters receding in California wine country, but not before causing a lot of damage and claiming at least one life. And there is more rain in the forecast for the flood-battered region. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing higher. Dow futures up 166 points. S&P futures better by 16. NASDAQ futures up 47 points ahead of this morning's opening bell. More details at srnnews.com.
What I do is I take Super Beets. There's a little scoop they give you. You dip it into the container, you put it in water, you mix it, and it tastes really, really good. In fact, it's kind of a little pick-me-up. But the primary reason I do it is not for the flavor, although it's good, not for the taste, although it's good. It's because it controls my blood pressure. Did you know that according to the American Heart Association, nearly half of all adults in this country have serious issues related to their cardiovascular health? That's why I suggest taking Super Beets by Human, something I do every single morning. February is Heart Health Month, so take care of yours. And now Human is going to let my listeners try Super Beets risk-free for 90 days. Just go to elderbeets.com and take advantage of this great offer. Plus, if you click right now, you'll get a 30-day supply free with your first purchase. Super Beets will even pay shipping and handling. Go to elderbeets.com and take advantage of this risk-free trial. Customer pays cost of return. The health of your heart is way too important, so call 800-996-3406, 800-996-3406, or go to elderbeets.com right now. You'll be glad you did.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still looking very nice out there for this Friday morning. We certainly can't complain. No accidents, no delays. Got a couple of roadwork projects that have popped up today. Right lane closed on 6440 eastbound at the Poplar Street Bridge until 4 o'clock. And 141 southbound, you'll see roadwork there from 6440 to Manchester until 2:30. We also have construction in the right lane on the ramp from northbound 55 to the eastbound Poplar Street Bridge until 4 o'clock. But everything else right now is looking very good. Traffic is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow
everything
on
else,
Sunday.
and it's still at
Accumulating 2 to
70%.
4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast.
It's charging.
On
but it's only at
1380 and
70%.
105.3, The Answer.
I'm Russ Evans.
I'm Chris Carter.
No,
and I'm Shannon Nordstrom.
Together, we're the Motor Medics on Under the Hood.
Join us for fun and free automotive advice. If your car is feeling ill, we're the doctors, and we're here for you.
Tune in and be entertained while learning more about your car and how to save money on ownership costs.
You can ask questions and find out more at UnderTheHoodShow.com.
And don't forget about our Facebook page. Join the Motor Medics each week on Under the Hood. Brought to you in part by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Under the Hood, Sunday afternoons at 2 on The Answer.
Come on, kids. We're late.
Honey, the car won't start.
Mom, the dog just sat on my science project.
Life can be stressful, but getting life insurance shouldn't be. That's why there's Ethos. Ethos is a modern kind of life insurance that's super fast, incredibly affordable, and very uncomplicated. At GetEthos.com, there are no medical exams for policies covering under $1 million, no hours of paperwork, or meetings with pushy representatives. It only takes 10 minutes to apply, and you can rest assured knowing you've taken steps to protect your family. And in most cases, with Ethos, you can have that peace of mind for less than a cup of coffee a day, with no hidden fees. Having life insurance can free you from stress. Getting life insurance shouldn't cause it. Discover how uncomplicated life insurance can be at Ethos. Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to GetEthos.com. That's ETHOS. GetEthos.com. GetEthos.com.
Buying the right window treatments for your home can make a huge difference. Should you use curtains, shades, shutters, or blinds? Get the best recommendation when you call Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael has been serving our area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also a top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Cut down on the risk of error. Contact Michael at ProctorDrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor.
I'm native to St. Louis and particularly endeared to the small businessman like Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Old Town Fenton. Their specialty, their huge selection of handguns, sporting firearms, fishing equipment, and archery. Denny Dennis's trained staff always make sure that you are fitted with the right handgun or sports equipment. Another attraction? Their museum of hunted game from around the world. Denny Dennis Sporting Goods with everyday low prices. Like Denny Dennis on Facebook to see their current specials. And make sure to tell Denny that Dana sent you.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Dana Lash. Join me this afternoon at 1 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. If you don't, an eagle will cry.
You've got the love I need to see me through. Sometimes it seems the going is just too rough. And things go wrong no matter what I do.
Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. You are listening to Allman in the Morning and preparing possibly for the snowstorm on Sunday. I don't know. I'm giving different predictions for what's happening. 6 inches, who knows? That's what I'm hearing. About sick of winter. Well, not about sick of winter. I've been sick of winter. We've got a little discussion we need to have about the enumerated powers of the president and Congress as Republicans start to fight the president on his emergency declaration. We're going to kind of lay it out here. And also more media malpractice as they decide to take the side of North Korea, which is always entertaining. Thanks a ton for that. And thanks a ton, Trish, for calling into the show on line 1. Trish, good morning to you. What's going on?
Hi, Jamie. I just wanted to tell you that we're so thrilled that you're back on the radio, and I knew you would be. I knew you would be soon. And I just wanted to tell you that we missed you, and we're so glad you're back. We need you on the air.
Trish, it's humbling, and it's an honor that you feel that way, and I appreciate you so much. It has been quite a fight but it also has been invigorating, and it has been a blessing that Salem Media said, you know what, we can't keep this voice down long. And for a lot of us, we were all each other's voices. And suddenly that disappeared, or at least people tried to make it disappear. And I popped back up within 3 weeks on Facebook and the stream. But in the end, getting back on terrestrial radio is also a huge win for all of us. And Trish, I appreciate you being such a strong supporter and longtime supporter. I appreciate that very much.
Well, I've been listening since day one at the other place, and it was a real loss, I think. So we really appreciate you being back.
Well, thank you, Trish. I really appreciate you as well. So thanks for your support.
You're welcome.
All right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye. Call Tammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380. Yeah, I really am. It has been, it's one of those things where you have to kind of look at it from a perspective of everything happens for a reason. And I have no doubt in my mind that ultimately, in spite of what happened 9 months ago, that ultimately this is going to be so much better for me and for all of us, and for common sense conservatism, and for entertaining and informative radio and beyond. And so I'm really honored to be hooked up with Salem Media and glad they decided that it was going to be time to step up. They couldn't actually do anything any earlier until I had my court case settled. But nonetheless, I'm really happy to be back on the air. And now I do believe, as I head into the future, that maybe it all was designed this way. So who knows? I like to think of it that way. I like to be optimistic in that end. Linda is online too. Linda, good morning to you. Thanks for calling the show. How you doing?
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I'm great. It is so good to have you back on the air. How great is that? Even though I never stopped following you, because I listen to you on RFA as well. So it is terrific, though. Welcome back, Kinder Spirit.
You are so sweet. How old is Mini-Me now?
Mini-Me.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different Linda. I think I was thinking of the Linda that had a little kid. I mean, there are so many people out there. I'm trying to keep up with all that, but I thought maybe there was a Linda at one time that had listened to the show that had a little kid, and I was wondering how old Mini-Me, and she called him Mini-Me, so I thought maybe that was you. But you're my other Linda. You're my other Linda.
Yeah. My mini-me's are all grown.
Well, I so appreciate you. And you know what? It's interesting how, when it comes to I know, and thank you for listening on RFA and still staying with me there. But it's interesting how for a lot of us, it still remained one missing element, and that was being on terrestrial radio. And that was because in many ways, as much as it's also increasing the accessibility of the show, but it also winds up giving us just that much more level of power. So that, because usually what would happen is, even though I had Facebook and stream numbers that were attracting people in numbers that I even had at 97.1, the reality is everybody would just keep saying, oh, you're just on internet radio. You're just on, and it's like, well, even though it was digital radio is kind of like part of the future as well as terrestrial, it was still that one little element where we say, see, now you can't just simply write us off anymore. Now we've got multiple platforms.
That's right.
So that's how it works.
You have proved these people wrong. All the other people that have been taken out, like Bill O'Reilly and many other people, conservative voices, have been silenced for good, and they didn't fight back like you did. And this proves that if you do fight and you want this, if you want freedom to continue in America, you have got to fight for it. And you are a fighter. That is terrific.
Well, thank you, Linda. That's very sweet of you to say that. And I'm so glad you're continuing with me on this platform as well. So thanks a ton. And again, my whole view of this was that I really wasn't only just fighting for myself, that I was fighting for the people who we have grown to know and love as each other in Common Sense Radio for 17 years. Because really what was happening is it wasn't just my voice that was yanked. It was the voices of thousands of people like you who felt like you had a place, you had an outlet, you had somebody speaking for you, you had somebody standing up for you. And I'm no hero, but I'm just saying that what this was really all about was just fighting back and proving a point, but also making sure that we weren't going to allow the people that wanted to erase our voice to succeed. So I'm celebrating this victory with you. That's for sure.
That is terrific. And we need you for 2020, too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I will,
2020, we need to get out there.
yes,
sure.
ma'am. I will be there. So, Linda, thanks for calling the show.
Thanks, Jamie.
Have a great weekend. Yeah, that's really so.
Right. You too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so awesome to hear from the old friends and the people who have been listening to me for a long time. And again, this was not just a personal fight. This was not really about me. And I never wanted it to be about me because I think we all kind of went down together on this one. And we're all coming back together as well. Let's get to wireless caller. Wireless caller, good morning this morning. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it before Max answered the phone, so sorry about that. There will be a name attached to it. By the way, do you see what this is what we're up against too? And this is one of the things that I love to do is call the media out when it decides that it's going to take the side of what otherwise would be our enemies. And there's a reason why they call it the enemy-media, and I love it when the president does that. I'm not worried about Jim Acosta being assassinated because that's not going to happen. These people all claim that somehow, by calling us out, you're jeopardizing our First Amendment. No, we're not. We're calling you out and we're holding you accountable. So yesterday on the news, lo and behold, here's ABC News deciding that they're going to literally take the side of Kim Jong-un. Here, listen to this. You got my...
Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. President Trump saying sometimes you have to walk. Tonight, his critics asking why did he put Kim Jong-un back on the world stage, allowing him to sit across from an American president without knowing what was going to happen.
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a news organization. Actually, they say critics say. Who are those critics? Or it's kind of like when they say some say. It's like it's usually just people in the newsroom. But this idea somehow that giving Kim Jong-un a national stage was somehow heretical. What, is it better to be like Obama and be like Bush and be like Clinton and just write North Korea checks to keep him quiet? Because that's been the policy thus far in terms of how things are operating here. We just simply keep paying these people off to be quiet while they're building a nuclear program. So this idea somehow that President Trump is really what they're actually insinuating is he's some kind of a traitor for daring to meet with Kim Jong-un, and that is indefensible coming from our news media. And by the way, this is a lead-in from a news organization that is clearly already taking a position. Now, you know what? I know. Sometimes it's useless for us to be barking at a news media that we don't watch. For instance, I really don't watch ABC News, and this is the reason. Because I'll just yell at the TV all day long. I mean, I've been basically forbidden at my house from turning on the news because I'll shoot the TV. I'll be like Elvis eating my peanut butter and banana sandwich. I'll shoot that TV. But no, I'm not really that. But I mean, I can't. It drives me nuts. So I basically limit myself to reviewing tape of the show, so I'm not real-time agitated. And so, unfortunately, I feel bad because I know you don't come to Allman in the Morning to be agitated, but I want to expose this to you because this is what we're up against, and this is why we need to continue to fight. There are some people who say, well, forget about the mainstream media. People don't watch them anyway. Our people don't watch them anyway. But you have to understand what you're up against. In order to be able to win a fight, you have to know the tactics and the ways of the enemy. It's much like if you're a prosecutor, you have to know what the defense is up to. If you're the defense, you have to know what the prosecutor's up to. And that's why I expose you to this, because this is unforgivable. This is no longer just regular news anymore. This is advocacy journalism, but it's advocacy for a political party. And drives you nuts, but it's what's on TV. It's unfortunately, I love my mom, but it's like what my 90-year-old mom watches, this kind of stuff. Then I've got to hear, or is this what your coworker listens to, watches? That's why when you're sitting there at work and you're in the lunchroom or doing whatever you're doing, or the person's in the next office, there's always that one guy. Yeah. What about this Trump giving Kim Jong-un all this power? And we hate it. Well, you know what? Listen to me, because you know what you can do? You can answer them and say, oh, so should we just write him a check? Is that better? Just pay these people off, or send a plane load of cash like Obama did to Iran? Is that the way you want to do it? Now let me eat my sandwich. Leave me alone. That's what I want. I'm just trying to I'm giving you the tools to debate these people who are constantly lurking around. This weekend, you're going to be perhaps, having dinner, and then there's always that one relative just can't not talk about it. Yeah, so Kim Jong-un, no deal, huh? All that and no deal. And you've got to just simply say, listen, I listened to Jim Carafano, I listened to Allman in the morning. Jim Carafano was on, and he said this actually was a better performance than Ronald Reagan in '86 in Reykjavik. It's amazing. That's coming from Jim Carafano, who is basically apolitical. Anyway, here you go.
Collapse of talks today between President Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. President Trump saying...
By the way, these talks did not collapse. This was not a collapse in the talks. If you listen to President Trump, and by the way, is Kim Jong-un talking about this being a collapse? No. He's pretty quiet, isn't he? You know why? Because he's going to make a deal. He's waiting to see how this is all going to go. And as Jim Carafano pointed out earlier, there's a really good chance that he might just go ahead and give up his nuclear program. He's now downloading the speech that he was given by President Trump, who told him, look, did you watch my rally in El Paso? You ought to do one of those. They'll love you like they love me if you just start making your country better instead of keeping everybody basically in a gulag economically and starving because you're building up a nuclear program. You could be famous like me, said President Trump. I don't know whether he said it or not, but I can imagine the conversation. So these talks, even to describe the talks ending as a collapse is an editorial position. The talks did not collapse.
Sometimes you have to walk. Tonight, his critics asking why did he put Kim Jong-un back on the world stage, allowing him to sit across from an American president without knowing what was going to happen. Before it all fell apart, there was the dinner last night, then the meeting today. The North Korean dictator even took a question from a reporter on denuclearization, something he's never done before. But a short time later, the announcement.
That's a pretty big deal. They're acting like it's a bad thing that Kim Jong-un took a question from a reporter because it's something he's never done before. It's like, that's good news, not bad news. The fact that Kim Jong-un is talking to a reporter. Can you imagine North Korea where everything is locked down the way it is? Now suddenly it's gotten to the point where Kim Jong-un is so comfortable he's actually talking to a reporter. It's pretty amazing. But ABC saw it as a bad thing.
The working lunch was canceled, the table empty, the White House revealing no agreement. And tonight, the North Koreans just a short time ago taking on the president with their own version of what happened here.
Okay, so of course, you know what they're going to spend a majority of the time on? The North Koreans taking on the president, which basically really isn't what they're doing, but that's the advocacy position. You have an ABC News deciding they're going to take the position of the North Korean dictatorship against Trump. That's what you're getting from your mainstream media. That's what you got to fight every day. This kind of stuff is being squirted into the ears of people around you, and you need to find some way and get some position in your mind to be able to fight this. So we're going to come back in just a little bit. Call Tammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380. And folks, by the way, we're going to also break down what exactly is the president's power when it comes to declaring this national emergency. And all the usual suspects in the Republican Party, why are they fighting him on this? Also, I will get to the common sense conservative angle on the Bryce Harper signing with Philadelphia. So we're going to talk baseball and conservatism all at the same time here on Allman in the Morning.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We have picked up our first accident of the morning, 70 westbound before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. We have a crash blocking the right lane. We can see the accident from the jam cam at Mid-Rivers Mall. 270 northbound, a little bit tighter. 44 to Manchester slowing. 6440 eastbound. Chesterfield Parkway west to Timberlake Manor and 170 to Big Bend. Westbound, delays there. Hampton to Big Bend. Midday road work today, 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between 109 and Lindbergh. And 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Vandeventer and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Compassion International.
Right now, there's a child living in extreme poverty with no future and no hope. But you can bring hope when you become a Compassion International sponsor. Just text the word child to 83393 and sponsor a child right now.
I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
While cleaning out the attic, I ran across my father's classic Winchester rifle. Wanted to give it to my son for his birthday, but I didn't know what it needed in order to be restored. So I took it to Razorback Armory for a cleaning and performance check. What a great birthday present it was. My son uses it and will pass it on to my grandson someday. I know that would make my father happy if he were here today. Restore your guns to the condition they deserve. Visit the pros at Razorback Armory in Des Peres, just east of 270 on Manchester. RazorbackArmory.com.
Smash here, St. Louis, Sundays, 11 a.m. till noon, right here on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. I'll be bringing you the People's Praise Party. Smash playing Jesus music? Yeah. You talking that stuff too, Smash? Yeah. It's all called Testimony. Sundays, 11 till noon as you're heading to your church's late service, or as you're coming out of early service and heading on over to Cracker Barrel. It's the People's Praise Party, your Sunday morning smash at your service. Here on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
You love that smell, that new truck smell, all cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at customcarandtruck.com.
Are you ready to sell your house, but you don't know who to trust with a listing? I'm Tammy Mitchell-Hines, and I sell a house every 30 hours in the Metro East. From staging your house to filling out all of the paperwork, my team is here to guide you step by step through the process of selling your house and getting the most value from it. Serving in Monroe, St. Clair, and Madison counties in Illinois. Go to calltammy.com and let us do the work for you. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Just go to calltammy.com.
I regularly hear stories of companies cutting the commissions of their outside salespeople. Has that happened to you? Or maybe you've had accounts taken from you and given to another salesperson to level the playing field. I've never understood those who penalize top sellers when they've become too successful. If you're a good salesperson, especially if you're in media sales, then I want to talk to you. I'm Lori Vernier, local sales manager for Salem STL Radio. I believe in the work I'm doing, but more importantly, this company believes in its people. Last year, Salem Media Group, our parent company, was voted one of the national best and brightest companies to work for. And for the past 2 years, we were voted a great place to work by our employees. If you'd like to join my sales team, drop me an email at jobs@salemstl.com. That's jobs@salemstl.com.
The station is owned and operated by Salem Media Group and is an equal opportunity employer.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric pediatric dentistry, or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
AM, FM, and online too. TheAnswerSTL.com. The Dana Show is on this afternoon at 1 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Hang on. Yeah, I'm fascinated by this enumerated power issue and why Republicans continue to fight the president on this emergency declaration. It has nothing to do with a Democrat coming and declaring an emergency regarding guns. It's apples and oranges. So I'll explain all that to you just so you can explain it to other Republicans who might be slinging the same old hash. Also, I'm going to double back on the eGuard watch story. Remember they fought Gillette when Gillette threw men under the bus? Well, I finally got my eGuard watch. I'll tell you all about that in just a few. And also, I love that commercial with Smash. I love him mentioning Cracker Barrel, man. You ever been to Cracker Barrel, Phil? Maxie, you ever been to Cracker Barrel? That's some old school stuff right there, man. Sometimes I wish they served beer, but sometimes I'm glad they don't. You know what I'm saying? Because it wouldn't be Cracker Barrel with beer. We'll be back. It's Allman in the morning. Happy Friday.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Secretary of State Pompeo says President Trump was right on target when he suggested that North Korea demanded much while offering little in return at the just-concluded nuclear summit in Vietnam.
He said they basically asked for full sanctions relief. That's true. They basically did ask for that. That was in exchange for some relatively undefined, but a scope that President Trump didn't think was adequate to justify that level of economic sanctions relief from the world.
The summit ended early with no deal. The North denies asking for total sanctions relief. In any event, Pompeo says he's ready for a resumption in talks with Pyongyang.
We are anxious to get back to the table so we can continue that conversation that will ultimately lead to peace and stability.
But North Korea has said that dictator Kim Jong-un may be through talking. The premier gathering of conservatives from across the country will hear from Vice President Pence this morning. He'll be addressing the CPAC conference in suburban Washington. Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah telling the gathering that he's shocked to hear the left suddenly so concerned about the separation of powers.
Where was their outrage over the violation of the Constitution and the separation of powers in the last decade? Where was the concern about Congress's Article 1 power to declare war when President Obama declared a national emergency in 2011 as part of his undeclared war in Libya?
And tomorrow, President Trump will take the CPAC podium. Following sizable gains in October and November, consumer spending tumbled in December, dropping by 0.5%, the biggest decline in 9 years, reported by the Commerce Department. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open, Dow futures up 159 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Our accident on 70 westbound before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive has 2 right lanes blocked now. We can see the crash from the jam cam at Mid-Rivers Mall. 270 northbound, delays there, 44 to Manchester. 44 eastbound, slowing a bit. Elm to Laclede Station. We've got delays on 6440 eastbound, Boone's Crossing to Timberlake Manor. And then 170 to Big Bend westbound, it's Hampton to Laclede Station that is slowing a bit. Midday roadwork 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between 109 and also 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Vandervetter and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow on Sunday. Accumulating 2 to 4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Delta and American Airlines fined for delays. Californians losing money on recycling and recalls for Kia and Hyundai. Those stories are next.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or more importantly, if you sign up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called Medi-Share, and Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing program. It's been around for 25 years. They have more than 400,000 members now around the country. And get this, over the years, Medi-Share members have shared more than $2 billion of each other's medical bills, so they could help share your needs too. And best of all, you could save a lot of money with Medi-Share. The typical savings for a family is around $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. So if you think you're stuck with a high-cost health plan that doesn't have much to offer, think again. You can join Medi-Share anytime, so call them today and check it out. There's no pressure. They're super easy to talk to. 855-41-BIBLE. That's 855-41-BIBLE. 855-41-BIBLE.
The Department of Transportation levying a $750,000 fine against Delta Airlines. It hit American Airlines with another $1 million fine for keeping passengers stuck for hours on airport tarmacs. Both airlines violated the rules, but American will be credited for the $450,000 it's already paid out to air travelers in compensation. Hyundai and Kia are recalling more than 500,000 vehicles in the United States because of the potential to ignite engine fires. Consumers in California lost at least $300 million in nickel deposits on soda cans and bottles last year. The primary reason, 40% of the state recycling centers have closed, and 100 recycling centers closed in Los Angeles County alone. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Larry Elder explains how hard Trump has been on Russia.
The president has been the toughest on Russia than any modern president. Trump has pulled out of this treaty with Russia that Russia was violating. Trump has armed the Ukrainians. He's made us more energy efficient. He's condemned that pipeline that Russia is building between its country and Germany, and the president's being reamed as soft on Russia.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 5 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Breaking news, stimulating talk.
Winners don't wait for chances. They take them, seizing opportunities that come their way, having the courage necessary to make the game-winning play when it's all on the line. It's what sets us apart from the rest. Your home for Bears basketball is right here on the Missouri State Sports Network.
Missouri State versus Drake, Saturday, March 2nd, beginning at 2:30. Right here on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, your home for Missouri State basketball.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand With Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com.
Hey, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors. If you enjoy hunting, fishing, or just God's great creation, then you'll want to join me in the Camp House. We travel all over these great United States, bringing hunting and fishing opportunities your way, plus special guests and knowledgeable pros. Big Billy Kinder Outdoors, Saturday mornings at 5 on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Brought to you by Denny Dennis Sporting Goods and Fenton, specializing in fitted guns for protection or the outdoors enthusiast. Like them on Facebook to get in on their weekly specials.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning this morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yes, my people. Call Tammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380. Don't forget about the stream. TheAnswerSTL.com is where you can go ahead and pick up the Answer stream and listen to the show that way if you want to. Watching the CBS This Morning show with Andrew McCabe and his weird costume that he wears, where he tries to make himself look like that 1958 FBI agent dude, Lion McCabe. What is up with his get up there? I don't know. I don't really get, I mean, so are those glasses, like, is that part of it? Like he's acting like he's like from some 1958 FBI movie. I guess I would too if I was basically a convicted liar, essentially. He has a new book out and everything else. He's talking about the Cohen hearings, and the media just loves him. Speaking of the media, I have to say that I know it's going to sound weird maybe, but President Trump is not unlike the person who actually went to Vietnam and fought. And I realize people go, yeah, but he was a deferment guy and blah, blah. I get all that, a medical deferment. But it's not unlike when we sent our troops over to Vietnam, the people on Capitol Hill basically undermined them every step of the way. It was a war that was essentially engineered and fought by people in Washington, D.C., and it's no wonder then we had so many problems that we did. And then when he comes back, he's spit on, this time by the news media. Just a little bit of symmetry there. All right, let me get to this enumerated powers issue. By the way, Jennifer Bird, old friend of ours, is going to be joining us from CPAC. That's going to be at about 9 o'clock or so. Doug Giles on the way at about 8:30, and we'll have her on. Maxie, I'll give you Jennifer's number there in due time, and we'll get a hold of her up there. CPAC has lost a little bit of its luster for me. I've been up there before, and it was interesting for a while when Breitbart was around, and you know, when there was a little bit of the grassroots movement. There still is a grassroots movement up there, but it became kind of one of these cool kids events, and it kind of got tiresome watching the SE Cups of the world and all these other people, and I don't know, it's kind of got boring after a while. But nonetheless, Vice President Pence is going to be speaking, and I know Jennifer is going to be there for that. He's going to be speaking this morning, fairly soon. All right, so the Republicans, I don't know whether you first heard Marco Rubio when the idea was broached of a national emergency declaration by the president. Marco Rubio said, yeah, well, be careful, because if we declare a national emergency as Republicans, just wait till the Democrats do it for global warming or for gun control. And, of course, that is a specious argument that is not based in any real fact. It's only based on conjecture, and it's based on an apple and oranges view of defending the border versus pushing a global warming agenda or pushing a gun control agenda. There's a huge difference. And so when you hear Republicans talk like that, it's usually their talking point. They don't like it because they keep on obstructing the president in his desire to build the wall. I've not been a big wall guy. I didn't vote for President Trump because of the wall issue. I still happen to believe that some of our biggest problems as it relates to immigration are not only people overstaying their visas, but also our government deciding that they are going to import a bunch of foreign workers here to compete with our people. That's the immigration issue I'm more concerned about. So the guy crossing the Rio Grande, yeah, I know that's an issue, and I know border control is a big issue for people, and I get that. And the president's declaration of an emergency because Congress has simply failed to act and do their duty, which is basically to uphold the Constitution and defend our borders. That's one of the enumerated powers. I mean, if you look at the enumerated powers of Congress, they are supposed to be funding things that are clearly stated in the Constitution as things that they swear to uphold, and that is the Constitution, which declares that we have a ability to regulate commerce, and we have a necessary obligation to defend our borders and to formulate a military. And you guys kind of get the drift a little bit about that. So Republicans came out even before the congressional negotiations started. And you all remember what happened here is that it was Friday when President Trump lifted the government closure. He decided to go ahead and reopen government on the promise that Republicans and Democrats would get together and come out with some kind of agreement on the wall. Well, of course, anybody with any brains knew that wasn't going to happen. It was bad faith all around. And unfortunately, then ensuing on the Sunday shows, we had the likes of Senator Roy Blunt and Senator Marco Rubio and others saying they would not support an emergency declaration. This was even before the negotiations started, and at the time I was on the stream and Facebook saying, "Thanks a lot, guys. That's great. I would never want you in my platoon because you'd get us all killed with your babbling, running mouths and giving up and surrendering before we've even started." And so the declaration of an emergency was always kind of in the background as something that President Trump could keep in his hip pocket and pull out when he needs to, and certainly pull out when Congress didn't do its job. Of course, Rubio and Blunt, as well as the Democrats, all knew that they weren't going to come up with a decent agreement, one that would certainly be acceptable to the president or that would go the way as far as it should go. They knew that, so that's why they went on the Sunday shows and declared they wouldn't support a declaration of emergency, even though they knew that there would be one because they are not holding up their end of the bargain. Now, Senator Blunt has been a very loyal supporter of President Trump and, in fact, even ran his inauguration committee. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say that Roy Blunt is dirty in that sense, but I still didn't think it was a wise idea tactically to go on the air and just simply say, yeah, we don't want that to happen. It's like kind of like if you start a baseball game and the first words out of the mouth of your batter is, you know what, I'm going to probably not try to hit a couple home runs. I'm going to probably try to hit a couple doubles. It's like, oh, thanks for nothing. Tactically, it didn't work. So now, of course, we have Lamar Alexander, who yesterday, a Republican, and some of these guys, they drive me nuts. I realize that they are U.S. senators. They have a constituency. They have people who they are representing. They're not the president. I get that. And they have certain geographical areas that they are supposed to be representing. I get all that. They all have different kind of ways in which they look at their duty. I get it. But here's Alexander deciding he's going to go on the floor of the U.S. Senate and say he doesn't support it.
His summit with the North Korean leader and turns his attention back home, I want to make a respectful suggestion, and that is this, that President Trump ask his lawyers to take a second look at an existing funding authorities that the president has to consider construction of the 234 miles of border wall that do not require a formal declaration of a national emergency.
So he went on and on about how he doesn't believe this should happen, and it's a slippery slope, and it's going to cause the Democrats, once they get into power, which will be a long time to come, to use it to declare an emergency for gun control or for climate change or what have you. And it's simply not going to happen, and it's not going to happen for the following reasons. And by the way, this is going to be a long next, 10 years for Democrats. You have the next 2 years And by 2020 rolling around, it's my view that Ocasio-Cortez and that Muslim loon from Minnesota and that reckless chick from Michigan, they're all going to be primaried and they're going to actually be out. I don't believe Ocasio-Cortez is going to last more than one term. 2020 is going to be a really bad year for Democrats, and it's not going to get any better. It's my prediction that President Trump, it's my prediction here that Mike Pence is not going to be President Trump's running mate in 2020. It'll be Nikki Haley, and Trump will win with Nikki Haley in 2020, and then Nikki Haley will run for president in 2024. Got it all worked out, people. I got my big plan. I got my plans all here on paper for the remainder of the days for the United States of America. Just letting you know. It's all planned out. All right, anyway. So I looked up the enumerated powers just to kind of get a sense of what the president's powers are when it comes to declaring an emergency. And it is very, very clear when you look at the enumerated powers in the Constitution, and you look, for instance, at Article 2, Section 1, and you look at what it says, and the last clause sets forth the president's oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. And on that level alone, the president's declaration of an emergency will be upheld if it is ever challenged in any kind of federal or Supreme Court. And even if it is knocked down by a federal court, it will be appealed and it'll wind up in the Supreme Court. And it's my opinion the Supreme Court will absolutely defend the president and his declaration of an emergency when it comes to the invasion of our borders, which, of course, you are, when you take the oath of office, you are promising to defend our borders and defend against an invasion. That's really what you're doing. So the idea that somehow a president could come along as a Democrat and say, oh, well, I'm declaring one for global warming. There's nothing in any section of the Constitution that defends a declaration of emergency for global warming. There's no invasion. There's no imminent border threat to the country. Nothing. And gun control is similarly part of this as well. You can't just declare an emergency because people are murdering each other. That's not an invasion. That's not an incursion. That's not an attack by foreign invaders. That's not a border issue. That's not within the confines of the Constitution in terms of the oath of office. When a president takes the oath of office, he isn't taking the oath of office to defend against mufflers that are blowing too much smoke out or defend somebody in the hood who's getting shot to death. That's not what the president's oath of office is, but it is to defend the borders. So when people run this argument by you, and again, I always like to try to give you primers when it comes to having to defend these issues here, because you're going to hear this from very sensible people. Oh, yeah, but what happens if the Democrats do the same thing? It's apples and oranges. There's no comparison between the declaration of an emergency when it comes to a border invasion and global warming and gun control. So don't worry your pretty little heads about that. CallTammy.com listener line is 844-855-1380. This is Allman in the Morning.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident causing problems at this hour. 44 eastbound has a left and a center lane blocked with a crash. Traffic just getting through in the right lane. The backup starts at Williams Road, and we can see the accident from the jam cam at Lewis. But your crash on 70 westbound before Mid Rivers, that has cleared completely. 270 northbound, 44 to Manchester's backed up. 6440 eastbound, 170 to Big Bend, a little bit slow, and westbound It's Hampton to Laclede Station that's tight, and 170 southbound. Just a slight delay there. Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. Traffic is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's easier to change the world than you think. Sponsor a child in extreme poverty with Compassion International, and you will change the world for that child. Just text the word child to 83393 to sponsor right now.
I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Gotta love my friend Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Matthew has been a longtime supporter of me, not only when I was at the other station, but also when I left the other station and started my own operation. He was there for me all the time and is here for me again as I am privileged to be working for 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. So thank you, Matthew, for your support. And I hope when it comes to your decision making, when it comes to choosing an insurance agent, that you choose Matthew in part because of his support of me and you, for that matter, and your voice, but also because he is a true value to you when it comes to your insurance needs. He is low premium and low deductible all the way. That's the deal. Now, normally what happens is insurance companies are going to give you low premiums, but then they kind of jack you up on the deductibles because that's how they kind of make their money back. It's a game insurance agencies play all of the time. But Matthew Mitchell and the Allstate Agency, they have a wide enough portfolio that they don't have to nickel and dime you to death. And so you're not going to get lower premiums and low deductibles for your home, your auto, and beyond than you're going to get with Matthew Mitchell. And I have to tell you, I was with a different agency at one time, had my home insurance with them, and he took one look at it and said, I could improve upon this very, very easily. And so I just tore it up. And he came in, and now I have my home, my auto, as well as my life insurance with Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. 855-QUOTE-ME is the number. 855-QUOTE-ME is the number. And don't forget, he has some great rates for the young drivers out there. You know how expensive it is to insure a young driver. Matthew specializes in reducing the costs for your young drivers. So give him a call. At the very least, call him and thank him for his support of Allman in the Morning. But also then figure out whether or not he can help you. And I guarantee you, in all likelihood, Matthew Mitchell certainly can. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME. It's the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency.
Smash with you here, St. Louis people here. I'm doing this People's Praise Party Sunday mornings. And they're saying, you, the dude that rock and rolled us all these years here in St. Louis, you're playing Jesus music? Well, yeah, Charlie Daniels does Jesus music.
When I die, hallelujah, bye-bye, I'll fly away.
All kinds of great Jesus music. We're going to rock it Sundays, 11 a.m. to noon as you're digging the smash with the People's Praise Party. Right here on 1380 a.m. and 105.3 FM, The Answer.
While cleaning out the attic, I ran across my father's classic Winchester rifle. Wanted to give it to my son for his birthday, but I didn't know what it needed in order to be restored. So I took it to Razorback Armory for a cleaning and performance check. What a great birthday present it was. My son uses it and will pass it on to my grandson someday. I know that would make my father happy if you were here today. Restore your guns to the condition they deserve. Visit the pros at Razorback Armory in Des Peres, just east of 270 on Manchester. RazorbackArmory.com.
Curtains, shades, blinds, shutters. What are the best for living rooms or bedrooms? Hey, it's Allman from Allman in the Morning. I want to tell you about the quality customized service you will receive when you call my friend Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home or business. Michael has served our St. Louis area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also the top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Those are beautiful. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. So cut down on the risk of error. Schedule your appointment today with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, ProctorDrapery.com.
Hello, St. Louis. Join me, James Enstall, every Sunday at 1 p.m. for Geek to Me Radio right here on The Answer.
I'll bring you the latest pop culture news, fun giveaways, and of course, the best celebrity guests across the greatest fandoms like... Today, we're talking to the father of Marvel Comics, Stan Lee.
What we did years ago was pretty good, but it had to take until Marvel became under new management who was willing to do the movies.
That's Geek to Me Radio, brought to you by Historic St. Charles. Plan your trip now. Go to discoverstcharles.com for an historically good time.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Larry Elder tonight at 5 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Working in spirit, you can see him and hear him in this world every day.
Far be it from me to suggest music for Smash's praise show. But I bet he can wiggle in some Louvin Brothers into this, too, because he played some Charlie Daniels, right? Smash makes me want to listen to his show. Well, that's kind of the idea, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's not like I would never listen to his show, but that's a. There's no better salesman than Smash. I'll tell you that. He hits all the right notes when he's doing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to weave in a little Cracker Barrel mention in his in his show. I love that in his promotion. Smash, what a great guy. Yeah, Louvin Brothers, Max, you remember those guys? They're the ones. They're the ones, and they're great. One of them actually died here in Missouri. And he got a little problem with alcohol, and he crashed his car down near Steelville, somewhere in that area there. Ira, the Great Atomic Power. These guys were great. This is from an album called The Weapon of Prayer. I guarantee you Smash has heard of these guys. If he hasn't, I'll text him and let him know. I'm not going to program a Smash music event. That's far be it from me, but just want him to know. All right, coming up, we're going to have check-in possibly from the CPAC convention there, Jennifer Bird. She's now telling me that she's kind of stuck in a security line. This always happens when you're dealing with people like Vice President Pence or President Trump. Their security's tight, and you're always kind of trapped in this vortex there, and cell phone coverage is minimal or nothing, so that's the way that goes. But Doug Giles is straight ahead as well. And also, I will get to the political angle of the Bryce Harper signing with the Philadelphia Phillies. It's kind of fascinating because he could have gone to the Giants, but he didn't for a reason you'll probably be very well aware of when I mention it to you. This is Allman in the Morning.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Secretary of State Pompeo says President Trump was right on target when he suggested that North Korea demanded much while offering little in return at the just concluded nuclear summit in Vietnam. The summit came to an end early without a deal being reached. Pompeo says he is anxious to resume talks with Pyongyang. The premier gathering of conservatives from across the country will hear from Vice President Pence later this morning. He'll be addressing the CPAC conference in suburban Washington. Tomorrow, President Trump scheduled to speak. Following sizable gains in October and November, consumer spending tumbled in December, dropping by 0.5%, the biggest decline in 9 years. On Wall Street this morning, stocks opening sharply higher. The Dow is up 193 points, the S&P 20 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Gee.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A couple of accidents here in the last hour of our rush. 44 eastbound, you have a left and a center lane blocked at Lewis Road. Traffic just getting through in the right lane, and that's backing things up from 109. We can see it from the jam cam at Lewis. And 70 westbound, a right lane blocked before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. Either it's still blocked or this is a new crash. We can see that one from the jam cam at Mid-Rivers Mall. 64 westbound, just slow, 15th Street to 55, not a big deal. And 6440 has the other delay, Hampton to Laclede Station Road. And everything else looks great. Traffic is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow on Sunday. Accumulating 2 to 4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dennis Prager points out the truth.
We are told that the left is pro-science and the right is anti-science because we don't believe that we should bankrupt Western civilization because the world will come to an end in 12 years. We are going about it the wrong way, that everything we'll do bankrupting the West will change the temperature perhaps a half a degree. Perhaps.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand With Israel tour through the land of Israel in December of 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. We'll learn about the geopolitical, economic, and spiritual dynamics of one of the most fascinating places on earth. And you'll share experiences that will change how you view the world. Walk the ancient temple steps, touch the Western Wall, sail on the Sea of Galilee, pray on the Mount of Beatitudes. The list goes on. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your chance. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose. The 10-day Stand With Israel Tour, December 2019.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I'm gonna be a wheel someday. I'm gonna be somebody. I'm gonna be a real gone cat. Then I won't want you. Everything's gonna go my way, and I won't need nobody. I'm gonna be a real gone cat. Then I won't.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning this morning. It's Allman in the Morning here on 1380 105.3 The Answer, as well as Facebook and YouTube and Stream. And if you have trouble getting us on the actual radio dial, there's the app. I mean, we've got the Answer app, theanswerstl.com, and the RFA app, everything else. So you can get us one way or another. In fact, it's got to the point where you can't avoid me. Can't run away. And that's a good thing. Yeah, coming up, I can't wait to tell you about this Bryce Harper deal. The situation there is, it's actually, there's a common sense conservatism aspect to the Bryce Harper deal in Philadelphia, and I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. I don't know if you saw this on ClashDaily.com, but it's the latest in the MAGA hat attacks. These people have created a situation, the left-wing media and all these other freaks, butthurt over losing this election in 2016, have now decided they're going to make a hat their biggest enemy. It's really vile. And, of course, what you're seeing a lot of is young people deciding they're going to take people up on wearing their MAGA hat. It makes me, the only reason I don't have a Make America Great Again tire cover for my Dave Sinclair Rubicon Jeep is because I can't find one. Otherwise, I'm going to get one. If they haven't made one, I'm going to have somebody custom make one for me, and I'll do the Make America Great Again hat tire cover. And we'll see what happens when you try to take that off. I'm just telling you. What, Phil? You don't think that's a good idea? Come on, man.
I don't know, bro. I don't know if I feel comfortable in just hanging out or leaving it in a parking lot and going into a mall, like coming back with a big key scratch or something, man. I'm skeptical.
Probably.
I'm skeptical.
Well, I'd have it booby trapped.
Yes.
There'd be like an IED attached to it, so if you touch it, it blows up. I'd have it booby trapped. But I'm just telling you, man. I mean, because now all that's happening is it makes us want to wear the hats even more. It makes us want to wear the Make America Great Again hats again. So this happened in Santa Fe. This is on Doug Giles' site. This is a kid being attacked. They're calling it a disagreement over a hat, but it's not a disagreement. Yeah, take it off or I'll rip it off. So it's a black student attacking a person wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And this is happening all over the joint. This was caught on tape, but who knows how many of these things are happening outside of what we're seeing on YouTube and videotape. Doug Giles, ladies and gentlemen, from ClashDaily.com. Buddy, good talking to you. How you doing, man?
What's shaking, man?
Hey, thanks so much for joining me. You've been with me ever since we left the other radio station and through the stream and Facebook and now back on terrestrial radio as well. And I can't wait to start playing your Warrior and Wild Men bits. We're working on something. You guys ought to hear these. I'll play some for you next week. And we're getting that thing going as a regular part of the show here. But, man, Doug, this thing that happened in Santa Fe, I mean, this is happening like once every 2 days.
Yeah, but it's not a hate crime if a black liberal does it to a white conservative teenager. And it's pretty disturbing, man. The people ought to rock up to ClashDaily.com and watch, again, a black student jump a white kid over his MAGA hat. And he had a Trump 2020 cape. Hey, Jamie, I got an idea about the tire cover for your Jeep that I've had the pleasure of riding in while it was pouring rain in St. Louis.
Yeah, I know.
Go to Vistaprint. Go to Vistaprint. They probably sort you out really quick and have that sign ready for your back tire. And then put cameras, man, all over the inside and outside of the Jeep. So when some triggered snowflake takes a tire iron to your back glass, boom, you got him like that jackass that accosted another MAGA hat wearer student over at UC Berkeley. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Punched him in the face, you know.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I saw that, and I loved how our local newspaper called it. They were showing the picture of the guy being punched, and they called it an alleged assault. It's unbelievable. I mean,
fist to the nose. Well, that's alleged.
Yeah.
No, I actually saw him strike him in the face. But again, Jamie, you and I have talked about this for 5 freaking years, and I love talking about it. There's quadruple standards when it comes to the leftists. And especially if you're black and female, oh, my gosh, man, you could run a steamroller over somebody, have multiple cameras filming you do it while you drink blood from the slit throat of a cat, and they would call you a poet if it was a Trump supporter underneath that steel will.
Yeah, unbelievable. So let me ask you.
The Berkeley dude, what's the cat's name? The guy that beat up the MAGA hat-wearing cat. Looks like he's going to jail, man.
Yeah.
He better brace himself for prison sex. Yeah, it says Berkeley PD concludes investigation into assault on conservative. They're now seeking, and this is Berkeley, man, they're seeking felony warrant. Woo, man. Do you think he'd look good in County Orange and a mop in a mop head wig?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's one of these things where I think, and this is what you get when you have decided, even as a political party. I mean, this is really actually kind of scary. I'm realizing that these are just incidents that are happening, that kind of thing. But we're living in a time where you are tagged. I mean, you're automatically tagged as a racist or this or that, even as a Trump supporter. I've never. It's so third world to me when you are advocating violence against people because they support a certain political candidate. I mean, I only see that in, foreign countries. Assholes, as Trump calls them.
That's what they are left to, because their ideas aren't winsome. They're not scientific. They're not rational. They have diddly squat to do with the Constitution, our founding documents, and our original intent. And because we're not letting millions of people in from our southern border anymore, their only recourse, Jamie, is intimidation and violence. Occasional Cortex, she just told the Democrats, because she's boss of the Democratic Party, you understand.
Yeah.
She just told Democrats that if you vote for anything that has diddly squat to do in a positive sense for anything that Trump is proposing, that we're going to put you on a list.
Yeah.
Oh, please. and they have the audacity to call Trump and Republicans and conservatives, you guys are Nazis, you guys are jackboots, you guys walking around threatening people. Trump just wanted to decriminalize, and he put it forth, homosexuality worldwide, and they're not even satisfied with that. They said, this is just a gimmick, it's just a ploy. No, this is an actual policy that he wants to put forth and have the world embrace.
It's very interesting, too, when you talk about hypocrisy. I do remember that, when President Trump dared to challenge a guy like Jim Acosta or dared to go up against somebody in the media or even call them the media, and they're like, well, this is terrible, and this is typical Republican or conservative, and this is just like we expected from Trump. Never mind that they actually supported a guy like Obama, who actually really did spy on the news media. Like, they tapped the phones of the news media.
Yeah, James Rosen,
yeah.
And his parent.
Yeah.
I don't even see James anymore. I don't know if they terrified him into complicity or he checked out and said, you know what, I'd rather have peace of mind and have leftists snoop around in my grandma's emails. But, they are, again, they accuse us of what they do. You get the neocons like Bush, you get Obama and their invasive NSA-type garbage, and then they say, again, that Trump is the control freak, Trump is the dictator. And you look at everything from speech to their policies, it's their way or the highway. There is no compromise, there is no wiggle room, there is no middle ground with anything that's part and parcel of their tenet of faith in democratic socialism.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think Cheryl Atkinson also suffered through that. She was in a situation where she was, I think, writing her book and doing all this kind of stuff, and she could have sworn people were, bugging her basement and breaking into her house. It was really just incredible. But that when my daughter Hannah Giles crushed Acorn's nut
her and O'Keefe and showed them, willing to give home loans for whorehouses for underage sex slaves from El Salvador, Jamie, our Facebook messages disappeared. Hannah would call one of her buddies and talk to, I don't know, about swimsuits or surfing or Acorn or whatever. And as soon as they would hang up on the cell phone, her buddy's phone would ring, and it would be CNN trying to get an interview with Hannah via the call she just made to her buddy on unlisted numbers. They invaded our emails, they invaded our Facebook messages, our Twitter accounts, and our cell phones, all because Hannah upset Obama's claim to fame, Acorn, and showed them willing and able in a dozen different locations across the nation to give home loans for whorehouses for underage sex slaves from El Salvador. That cost them $8.5 billion, and Obama's claim to fame went down in smoke on April Fool's Day 2010. But, man, they came after us tooth, fang, and claw, brother, and got all of our electronic communications.
Wow. Man, that's terrifying. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, and I think that's the first time I've ever heard that story, dude. Crazy.
Oh, yeah. No, we had, again, for 20 years, our home line, I still have a home line, but when a lot of people used to have home lines, we didn't put it out there. We didn't put us in the yellow pages, none of that crap. Couldn't find us online. But guess who found us? People who wanted to kill Hannah and rape her with broomsticks from Acorn.
Wow.
Our home line starts ringing off the wall. And that was supposed to be in the movie Acorn the Firestorm that Sundance and Tribeca put out in 2018. But gosh, man, the producers and the directors just didn't want that little nugget to make it out to the masses. Yeah, we had their death threats on tape. We played them for the producer and the director, and they were flabbergasted because it's a liberal film company, and they were raised and bamboozled like everybody else was. That Acorn's this Hello Kitty organization that likes minorities instead of a thing that shakes down banks for subprime mortgage loans that is involved in voter registration fraud and also has no problem setting up brothels for teenagers from El Salvador. And we got them threatening my daughter's life. We played it to them, gave them the files of the death threats that they made against Hannah. But that's not movie stuff. Come on, Jamie.
Wow. Well, that's unheard of. Now, is the movie out? Is it?
That's liberalism, folks. That's the left in all their ignoble glory.
Yeah. Is that movie out, by the way, Doug?
Yeah, Acorn the Firestorm.
Okay.
I believe you can get it
Amazon or whatever.
Yeah, Amazon or Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And finally, really quickly, though, you have a post there, because I didn't cover this yesterday, but it came across the transom yesterday of the occasional Cortex staff member eating a hamburger. It was classic.
Yeah, cows are bad, according to occasional Cortex, and we should eschew meat. And there's her staffer that, by the way, according to Occasional Cortex, you have no right to any kind of financial disclosures from her staff. And I think that's principally because she laundered money to her boyfriend, but that's another topic. Anyway, she's sitting there in front of Occasional Cortex just wailing on a hamburger, and it looks like little Alexandra's just all chatty and perky as normal, completely oblivious to her duplicity, her specious hypocrisy, and she's just she's a gift that keeps on giving, man.
No doubt about it. All right, buddy, and you are too. ClashDaily.com is where you can find Doug, and don't forget also right there you can see Doug's art. And you can get connected to the Warrior and the Wild Man podcast and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to have more to do with that later on as I'm going to get Doug more involved in what we're doing here at The Answer, 1380 and 105.3. All right, Doug Giles. Thanks, brother. Have a great weekend.
Stay rowdy, Jamie.
All right, you too. Talk later. It's Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A couple of accidents causing problems. One on 44 eastbound has both a left and a center lane blocked at Lewis Road. Traffic just getting through in the right lane, and your backup starts at 109. We can see that from the jam cam at Lewis. And 70 westbound, a right lane block before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. The only other problems we have are some delays on 6440 eastbound, McKnight to Big Bend, and 6440 westbound Hampton to Lead Station. Midday work today, 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between 109 and Lindbergh, and also 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Vandeventer and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Well, thank you kindly, Bonnie, and thank you kindly, Michael. Michael's Flooring Outlet. Michael Reynolds, a good friend of mine, a longtime supporter of Common Sense Radio, and now back with me here at 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, and he is an awesome guy. I met with him about a week and a half ago, and we talked about all kinds of issues in politics and business and all that kind of thing. And there's no better businessman than Michael. And let me tell you about the businessman aspect of this. It's all about customer service. St. Peter's, Darden Prairie, Creve Coeur, and Florissant as well. The old town St. Peter's right there. And I have to tell you, when it comes to the quality of flooring he has available to you, it is pretty amazing. Whether it comes ceramic tile, carpeting, or vinyl laminates, you name it, he's got it for you. And the service that he offers you, I'm talking about installation and setting you up, is just amazing. If you go ahead to Google and you go ahead and Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews, of course, it's also at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. You can see the reviews. And Michael likes this. Michael likes the fact that he is out there. Everything is transparent. And believe it or not, people are up there and they're loving him. I'll read one right here. I had a great experience choosing my floors. Gladys was not only helpful and informative, but also very friendly and delightful to work with. I'm only giving 3 stars because she believes, whatever, some issue. But I'm telling you, she paid, she compared these prices to other prices and found still the other guys are still way priced too high. And so that's the value of Michael. Sally Meyer, she went ahead and put out, very happy with our new carpeting. Gladys was our salesperson. Gladys must be very popular over there at Michael's Flooring Outlet. And she was very knowledgeable. We needed guidance on what would work best for our needs, and she was very helpful. And then also the installers. She said the guy's name was Todd. He did a great job. Quality products and helpful, knowledgeable staff is another one from Larry Williams. And Leah Petrus enjoyed working with Michael's Carpet Outlet, was pleased with the installers. That's an important thing, too, because Michael really takes great pride in his installation, great pride in the people who he has installing the products. They know these things backwards and forwards. And so there's no use spending the kind of money you're spending on quality flooring only to have it installed the wrong way. So Michael's Flooring Outlet's there for you at all levels and is going to help you big time, not only in terms of service, personal service, but also in terms of pricing. So I'm pleased to have Michael's Flooring Outlet back with me here on terrestrial radio like he was before at the old station. But Michael is committed to common sense and committed to good business, high quality, and the best installation you're going to find anywhere else. It's michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm native to St. Louis and particularly endeared to the small businessman like Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Old Town Fenton. Their specialty, their huge selection of handguns, sporting firearms, fishing equipment, and archery. Denny Dennis's trained staff always make sure that you are fitted with the right handgun or sports equipment. Another attraction? Their museum of hunted game from around the world. Denny Dennis Sporting Goods with everyday low prices. Like Denny Dennis on Facebook to see their current specials. And make sure to tell Denny that Dana sent you.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great. Since you're going to buy a boat, you need a hitch. And oh, what about a floor liner? Let's keep it looking nice. You are ready. Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. This is their 20th year selling top brand products for trucks like yours. Bug shields, step bars, and bed liners. See John and the crew off Highway 50 at 1354 Frontage Road or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now get free installation on step bars for your truck only at Custom Car and Truck.
I regularly hear stories of companies cutting the commissions of their outside salespeople. Has that happened to you? Or maybe you've had accounts taken from you and given to another salesperson to level the playing field. I've never understood those who penalize top sellers when they've become too successful. If you're a good salesperson, especially if you're in media sales, then I want to talk to you. I'm Lori Vernier, local sales manager for Salem STL Radio. I believe in the work I'm doing, but more importantly, this company believes in its people. Last year, Salem Media Group, our parent company, was voted one of the national best and brightest companies to work for. And for the past 2 years, we were voted a great place to work by our employees. If you'd like to join my sales team, drop me an email at jobs@salemstl.com. That's jobs@salemstl.com.
The station is owned and operated by Salem Media Group and is an equal opportunity employer.
The People's Praise Party, 11 a.m. till noon on Sundays, on your way to or from church, or as you're exiting any random overnight stay. You say, Smash, you now preaching and praying? No, it's just my one-man testimony where I'm just saying. Good music, good word, and as James Brown would say, good God! It's the People's Praise Party, 11 a.m. till noon, Sundays, right here at 1380 a.m. and 105.3 FM, The Answer. Good God!
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Buying the right window treatments for your home can make a huge difference. Should you use curtains, shades, shutters, or blinds? Get the best recommendation when you call Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael has been serving our area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also a top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Cut down on the risk of error. Contact Michael at ProctorDrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning. Good morning. Also, I'm reading about this story about how they have come up with lab-grown meat. Like they're growing like beef in a test tube. I thought they already had lab-grown meat. It's called tofu, right? I mean, isn't that what meat is? Like fake meat is tofu. Why do you need... I guess this is assuaging the enviro-Nazis who still believe the whole cow flatulence thing is a deal, and it's going to be part of the green revolution is us eating test tube meat. And the fact of the matter is, it's probably actually not all that bad. But why do that when you can just off a cow and eat that? Seems expensive to grow meat in a test tube. All right, coming back. Yes, the common sense conservative angle on the Bryce Harper signing. We're going to talk about that. And Josh Hawley, is he trying to become a Supreme Court justice? Straight ahead.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. They've taken a strong stand against a rising tide of socialism on the left. Speakers at this week's CPAC conference extolling the virtues of capitalism while applauding the economic successes of the Trump presidency. The White House, well represented at this year's gathering in suburban Washington. Vice President Pence is about to speak, and tomorrow President Trump will take the podium. Former presidential advisor Dr. Sebastian Gorka tells the gathering he's not at all surprised that not a shred of evidence of Russian collusion has been found.
I was in the Oval Office with the president. It was May or June of 2017, just the two of us. And I was in there for other business, but suddenly he changed the subject, looked at me, he got that laser eye look he does sometimes, and he said, "They will find nothing because there is nothing."
Gorka, the host of America First on Salem Radio. Another Democrat joining the crowded field of Democrats seeking the party's presidential nomination.
I'm Jay Inslee, and I'm running for president because I'm the only candidate who will make defeating climate change our nation's #1 priority.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee tossing his hat into the ring with this morning's announcement. The 68-year-old governor recently visited the first primary state of New Hampshire and the early caucus state of Nevada. Saudi Arabia revoking the citizenship of Hamza bin Laden, son of the late al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. The action comes after the U.S. offered a $1 million reward for information leading to his capture. Bin Laden's son has emerged as a leader of the al-Qaeda terrorist group. On Wall Street, stocks sharply higher. The Dow is up about 172 points, the S&P 19 points higher, and the Nasdaq is up 46 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Our accident on 70 westbound before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive has 2 right lanes blocked now. We can see the crash from the jam cam at Mid-Rivers Mall. 270 northbound, delays there, 44 to Manchester. 44 eastbound, slowing a bit. Elm to Laclede Station. We've got delays on 6440 eastbound, Boone's Crossing to Timberlake Manor. And then 170 to Big Bend westbound, it's Hampton to Laclede Station that is slowing a bit. Midday roadwork 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between 109, and also 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Vandeventer and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow on Sunday. Accumulating 2 to 4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Let's face it, we love Alexa, and we love to let her find your favorite radio station. This one, of course. We love it, too, when she finds us. But she could find us easier if we taught her a simple skill. To get started, simply say, Alexa, enable The Answer St. Louis skill. After she confirms, you can then say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. That's all you have to do, and Alexa will learn how to find us. You can listen to us through your Amazon Echo, Echo Show, Echo Dot, and Amazon Tap devices. Alexa, what is your favorite radio station?
That's easy. 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Do you consider yourself as the expert in your industry? Do others in the community consider you to be the expert in your line of business? There's an affordable way to position your company as the expert. I'm Lori Vernier, Sales Manager for 1380 AM The Answer and Salem Media St. Louis. Let us help you bring your brand to life. You know your business, and we know how to build an effective and engaging radio show with both on-air and online distribution. Grow your business by enhancing your credibility and branding yourself as the market expert in your field, positioning you above your competitors. Let's work together to help make you the expert St. Louisans turn to for information in your industry. Contact me, Lori Vernier, at theanswerstl.com, and we can discuss bringing your brand to life with your own radio program.
If you love radio as much as we do, then why don't you join us by having your own show? Just go to theanswerstl.com and click Contact Us at the bottom of the page.
This station owned and operated by Salem Media Group.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
He's back.
Yes, he's back.
Allman in the morning.
Don't adjust your radio.
On 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning, this morning, and we're back. Yes, we are. Call Tammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380. Don't forget, also, you can watch the show live right now. It's on the front page of the AnswerSTL.com. That just happens to be the place where you can also download the Answer app so you can stream the show. I'm told the stream's awesome, so go ahead and see if you can pick that up. Now, keep in mind, the calltammy.com, hello? What happened? What just happened there? The calltammy.com listener line is not only just for those of you who love me. It's also for those of you who have an issue with me. You know what? I mean, don't just because I don't want just love. I don't want hate either, but you know what I'm saying. So Greg, my boss over there at 1380, sent me a voicemail. Somebody, I guess, left the voicemail on a line. I call into the show. I'd rather talk to you that way. I'm not gonna jump down your throat or argue with you or anything else. Might hang up on you and berate you. Be stupid. But otherwise, I won't. I'm not going to do anything else. Anyway, no. This guy called in, and I want to play it for you because it's an interesting call, and it's a good. And I definitely think it's good that this individual brings this up because I think that he's making a valid point in the context of how there are a lot of people on the left do indeed feel when they hear right-wing crazies like me on the radio, right? I mean, that's how I'm just using that euphemism. I don't believe myself to be a right-wing crazy, but this is how they feel when they listen to conservative media. And they're obviously on the left, but I like to hear how these people feel. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you on the microphone and then do it that way. So here you go, guys. Let me play it for you here.
Radio station on 1380. You know, it's kind of ridiculous. You want to point out all the bad stuff about somebody else. They stay up night trying to find something. Why don't you talk about Mr. Trump's pitfalls? His lying, his cheating on his wife, his cheating on the taxes. You never bring up any of that. You grab these little obscure facts that a Democrat might have said and then you run with it. And there's nothing as bad as what that lying, cheating, traitor president of ours is doing right now. You guys you're on the wrong side of history. You're all going to be made fools after they throw that joker in the jail for cheating and lying and stealing. He's a thief. And he's a traitor. Thank you.
I like how he said thank you, though. That was pretty cool.
He's polite.
Yeah, he's polite. But here's the thing. I have to tell you that the points that he's making are points that we have heard before. And I don't know who he voted for. I would have asked him. I said, who did you vote for? I would have said Hillary. And if he said Hillary, I would have jumped on him and said, dude, so you voted for somebody who set up a separate server, did all this kind of stuff. And I'd ask him, why did he vote for the person who set up a separate server? Or why did he vote for somebody who clearly violated the law? Why did he vote for somebody who clearly was up to no good and set up a separate server in a bathroom? Why did he vote for somebody who actually was undermining the election itself by cooperating with an FBI that was letting her slide? And you know what I think his answer would have been? Because it doesn't matter. Because she was right on policy. Now, isn't that the reason why a lot of people vote for people who otherwise might have some personal issues, or maybe even actually did something that they don't like, or maybe even did something that wasn't right, or went around this or went around that? And so I would have asked him that, and he would give me an answer, the same answer that I actually would give him. And that is that President Trump, you can talk about him cheating on his wife. You can talk about him writing a check to somebody. You can even talk about him making some kind of weird deal when it came to one of his towers or whatever. None of that is going to have any influence on the securing of our border, on the denuclearization of the Asia corridor there, on taxes, on the economy, on the resurgence of manufacturing, any of that. So the reality is, and what will happen is ultimately what they'll say to you then, well, then you're a bad person, you're immoral because you overlook that. And the fact of the matter is, if that's the way you think, knock yourself out. Because it's funny how Democrats are so suddenly the moralists in our society, because every time you turn around, there's some left-wing loon wagging their finger in your face, telling you how immoral you are. These people, if they set foot into a church, they catch fire, and they're telling me about morality. And I'm not saying just because you go to church makes you moral. I'm not saying that. But, I mean, don't sit there and lecture me about morality. Oh, the border's immoral. Or the Make America Great hats are immoral. Or whatever you want to bring it up. But suddenly they're wagging their fingers at us. But that's not an argument. That's not an intellectual argument, because what it is it's a cheap type of shot. And so you can tell me all day long about President Trump and how he cusses behind closed doors. Big rip. As long as did you see what the GDP numbers were recently? We're at 3.1 as an average for the year. Did you see the meeting with Kim Jong-un, in which there's a strong possibility this guy's going to denuclearize? Jim Carafano, who's not a politician or not political by any stretch, and is a casual observer, or actually a more intellectual or precise observer, but he's not an observer from the political point, said there's a strong possibility Un's going to give up his nukes for the sake of making good points with his and scoring points with his people. Have you seen the employment levels for Black Americans? They're the lowest, the unemployment levels for Black Americans, the lowest it's been in history, at least since they started counting. For Hispanics, similarly, the numbers are great. Have you seen what's happening with the tax receipts flying into the government? Have you seen what's happening with the expansion of businesses? Have you seen what's happening with the blue-collar workers whose wages now are going up in terms of improving at a rate higher than they are for white-collar workers now? And ask any of those people affected by that whether they care what President Trump did with a stripper. And I'll tell you, most of them just simply do not. So we don't need the buckled shoes, sudden morality of the Democrat Party to try to tell us we're on the wrong side of history. We'll see about that. We'll see about that in 2020, the same way I told you that we'll see about that in 2016. And this wrong side of history thing is such a nonsensical term anyway, the wrong side of history. Just because you heard that in some stupid documentary you watched doesn't mean actually it's a thing. The wrong side of history, my rear. What does that even mean? It's kind of like the new term everybody comes up with when they come up with a dumb idea. They call it aspirational. What does that mean? We're just starting a conversation. It's really just aspirational, meaning what? You can't do it? So you're just going to mention it and then call it aspirational? That's the new word these days. But the wrong side of history? You got to be kidding me. The people who are on the wrong side of history are the people like this guy who called in, who believes that Americans actually give a flying rip about somebody cussing behind closed doors, or some check he wrote to somebody, or some deal he has to do with his wife. It's none of our business, by the way. And actually, what difference is it going to make whether President Trump cheated on his wife or not? What difference is it going to make when it comes to your personal economies, your personal incomes, your neighbor being able to buy a boat finally, or a house, your neighbor who owns a business being able to expand, buy more trucks, whatever? What difference really is President Trump's personal comportment really going to make? And in fact, it turns out, scarily enough, that you could actually be a person who doesn't maybe have a whole lot of couth and still be successful. And it'll still matter to the people who voted for you, because what matters to the people who voted for you is whether or not you're doing a job that is reflective of their aspirations and their desires for a better economy, more jobs, and prosperity, and safety and security. I'll give you an example. I remember these people. I love how the Democrats and all the left, who never miss an opportunity to disparage evangelicals, who never miss an opportunity to go after megachurch people and are derisive towards the Methodist Church or the Catholic Church or whatever, suddenly confounded that evangelicals would vote for a guy who can barely quote a Bible passage. And the reason why evangelicals will vote for a guy who can barely quote a Bible passage is because it doesn't matter to them whether or not he can quote a Bible passage. There are a lot of people out there who can quote Bible passages who aren't doing squat for this country. So the evangelical vote that was in favor of President Trump was solely because they trusted President Trump to look out for them and protect them. They didn't care whether President Trump was saying 2 Corinthians or Corinthians 2. Obviously, you know what? You want people who have a little bit of a knowledge of the Bible or biblical principles, only because it matters when it comes to dealing with individuals. Sometimes this foundation that you might have about, well, whether it be forgiveness or what have you. But clearly, these people who are attacking evangelicals or even attacking Trump, you know they haven't read the Bible. I mean, if you really wanted to go that far and go right into it, then go ahead and read Corinthians and see what it said in the readings from last week's liturgy. For instance, in my Catholic Church, where they talked about confronting your enemies, not confronting them, but actually sitting beside your enemies and working things out. Jesus did that. Jesus didn't hang out with the people who agreed with him. He hung out with the people who disagreed with him. So, folks, again, it's another primer for the whack job left-wing loons who this guy who called the show, and I appreciate him calling the show. I appreciate him listening to the show, because I don't want to keep people from listening to the show, and I don't want to disparage you or call you amoral or stupid or something gratuitous like that. But this guy, I guarantee you, what came out of this guy's mouth is coming out of his mouth right about now at the water cooler. And it'll come out of his mouth right about at 6 o'clock dinner time when he's having dinner with the family and somebody dares support President Trump. That's why you need to be able to refute this kind of stuff. And so, you know what? We don't live in a world guided by judgment about people's personal comportments, people's personal things. People who are elected to work for you, if they're not working for you, they go away. And if they are, then they stay. And this guy who, I wish I could have asked him. I said, if he voted for Hillary Clinton, I could have, and I spouted off all this stuff about her emails and the separate server and all that, FBI and the Clinton Foundation, all that kind of stuff. He would have said it didn't matter. And you know what? I would have accepted that answer. But he won't accept that answer from us because he thinks we ought to be chasing after Donald Trump because of his relationship with Melania, which I still don't know what it is. And you know what? I don't care what it is. It's none of my business. But nonetheless, I would have accepted his answer because his answer would be similar to mine and similar to the answers of millions of people who voted for President Trump even if they didn't like his tweets or if he didn't like this or he didn't like that. And these guys who come out saying, oh, how could this will bring down the Republican Party, you voting for a person who cheats on his wife or who wrote a check to a stripper. Oh, yeah? I'd rather do that than vote for a guy who's going to send thousands of American men and women to go get their butts shot off overseas in some Middle Eastern country. Or I'll vote for a guy who cheats on his wife over somebody who manufactures crappy trade deals that drives the economies of millions of Americans in the middle class and in the working class down the tubes. I'll take a cheater any day rather than somebody who will send us our Americans to their deaths or send them to the poorhouse or the welfare lines. So again, that's where we stand. That's how we operate here. And if you do have problems with President Trump and his personal comportment, then knock yourself out and vote for him. Vote against him then. But this wrong side of history, you all, I'm telling you, you guys are going to have the drubbing of a lifetime in 2020. If you win one state, it will be a miracle. And I'm telling you, that's why I love doing the show. I love doing the radio. I love doing that and worrying about, who's going to run, who's going to do this. No one's going to beat President Trump in 2020. And President Trump isn't going to be in jail. He's going to be in the White House. And Ocasio-Cortez isn't going to be a congressperson anymore. It's going to be a bloodbath in 2020. I pretty much guarantee you that. So the wrong side of history thing, I don't even know what that means. Am I supposed to take a break here? I'm sorry, get me all going and look at what you people are doing to me. Oh no, I'm good. Oh yeah, no, I got to take a break. Okay. So call in the show now. It's the calltammy.com listener line, 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380. This is Common Sense Radio.
Attention gun enthusiasts. Interested in purchasing a suppressor, but worried the new gun laws might make it a tough process? Razorback Armory in Des Peres is your home for the new Silencer Shop kiosk system. No need to go to several locations to prepare for your application, photo submissions, and fingerprint cards. Still have questions? Razorback Armory has answers. Visit the pros at Razorback Armory in Des Peres, just east of 270 on Manchester. RazorbackArmory.com.
Hello, St. Louis. Join me, James Enstall, every Sunday at 1 p.m. for Geek to Me Radio right here on The Answer.
I'll bring you the latest pop culture news, fun giveaways, and of course, the best celebrity guests across the greatest fandoms like... Today, we're talking to KISS bassist and entrepreneur extraordinaire Gene Simmons.
But I'll never forget the day Stan and the band, we took fresh blood from our veins and stuck it into the red ink in the Marvel comics.
That's Geek to Me Radio, brought to you by Historic St. Charles. Plan your trip now. Go to discoverstcharles.com for an historically good time.
One of the examples I use when I talk about expanding businesses and businesses that are rocking is the Arrowhead Building Supply folks and Rick Pogue and Jerry Pogue. These guys have recently begun a brand new operation where they're building this beautiful center right there in St. Peter's that's going to be the new home of Arrowhead Building Supply. But it's still obviously open in St. Peter's, but they're just building a new facility out there that has a house inside of it. And it's pretty amazing. And Rick and Jerry and the rest of the gang are very ambitious. They're very ambitious because the economy is just screaming right now, screaming along in a positive way. And so they have assets now that they didn't have before, and they have new courage now that they didn't have before as well to expand and create new opportunities, not just for their workers, but also for you homeowners out there. So it's going to be their display center, and nothing beats it because when it comes to all of their building supply materials, they have the best. They have the top line siding features for you, the top line roofing features for you, the top line window features for you, pergolas, you name it. They will put together anything to beautify your home. And if you go without a contractor, that's fine. They have the Cube, which is this great new piece of technology that you can insert or send them a picture of your home, and you put your home into the cube and you start to put different kinds of siding on them, different kinds of roofing, whatever, and you'll see what it really looks like. It's a great convenience for those of you stepping out to St. Peter's or Fairview Heights. It's a great convenience for you who are hooking yourselves up with Arrowhead Building Supply. This is the Arrowhead Building Supply studio, and I'm proud to say it is, and proud to have these guys on my side and working on behalf of Common Sense Radio. Keep in mind, too, you can go out there with your contractor if you want to, or if you don't have a contractor, they have a lockdown contractor referral service that you are absolutely going to love, because they all know all the great contractors out there who also know all of the intricacies about their supplies and will install them and put them together correctly for you. I've been an avid customer of Arrowhead Building Supply, and of course, Rick and Jerry and the rest of the gang are great friends of mine and great friends of yours, you common sense conservatives out there. Check it out on the web. It's arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
Are you looking for your dream home, but it doesn't seem to exist? You've tried to figure it out on your own, but don't know what step to take next? Don't worry. I'm Tammy, owner of Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company, and my team and I are ready to help ease that stress. My team serves Monroe, St. Clair, and Madison counties in Illinois. So go to calltammy.com to set up your stress-free appointment today. Give me an idea of what you're looking for, and we will do the rest. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Just go to calltammy.com.
You love that smell. That new truck smell. All cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at customcarandtruck.com.
Hey, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors. If you enjoy hunting, fishing, or just God's great creation, then you'll want to join me in the Camp House. We travel all over these great United States, bringing hunting and fishing opportunities your way, plus special guests and knowledgeable pros. Big Billy Kinder Outdoors, Saturday mornings at 5 on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Brought to you by Denny Dennis Sporting Goods and Fenton, specializing in fitted guns for protection or the outdoors enthusiast. Like them on Facebook to get in on their weekly specials.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Yes, we are live from the Arrowhead Building Supply studios. CallTammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380. I figured out a solution, I think, collectively during the break to the Make America Great Again Dave Sinclair Jeep Rubicon tire cover that I want to put on after I order and have it custom made. Phil was concerned about damage that might be caused to my Jeep while I go into the mall. I never go to the mall, but let's just say somewhere else. And I'm thinking I could put Ring doorbell things on there. Like, can you do the Ring doorbell thing on there? On your car? I bet you can. That way I could just, when people approach the Jeep, I could see them. I could start screaming at them. Hey! Get away from my Jeep! I'll have to look into that. It's a long way to go, though, to put that on there.
You're onto something, though.
I think I might just wear the hat. You know? Wear the hat and keep carrying. That's my solution. It's Common Sense Radio, all in the morning.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. They've taken a strong stand against a rising tide of socialism on the left. Speakers at this week's CPAC conference extolling the virtues of capitalism. And right now, Vice President Pence just starting his speech at the CPAC conference going on outside of Washington, D.C. Another Democrat joining the crowded field of Democrats seeking the party's 2020 presidential nomination, Washington Governor Jay Inslee tossing his hat into the ring with an announcement this morning in Seattle. Saudi Arabia has revoked the citizenship of Hamza bin Laden, the son of the late al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. The action comes after the U.S. offered a $1 million reward for information leading to his capture. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow is up 84 points, the S&P 11 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A couple of accidents here in the last hour of our rush. 44 eastbound, you have a left and a center lane blocked at Lewis Road. Traffic just getting through in the right lane, and that's backing things up from 109. We can see it from the jam cam at Lewis. And 70 westbound, a right lane blocked before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. Either it's still blocked or this is a new crash. We can see that one from the jam cam at Mid-Rivers Mall. 64 westbound, just slow, 15th Street to 55, not a big deal. And 6440 has the other delay, Hampton to Laclede Station Road. And everything else looks great. Traffic is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy, not as cold today, high 41. Increasing cloud coverage this evening, low 27. Cloudy and cold on Saturday, high 38. Breezy, quite cold with some snow on Sunday. Accumulating 2 to 4 inches. Storm total snowfall 3 to 6 inches. Winds from the north 12 to 25 miles per hour, high 27. I'm Madison Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Joe Walsh wants to see a harsh punishment handed down.
Jussie Smollett will have his day in court. He committed a serious crime,
and he ought to face a serious consequence.
He should not get a slap on the wrist, man. He should serve some time. When you think about the waste of manpower and resources, it just chaps me.
The Joe Walsh radio program. Weeknights at 8 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Breaking news, stimulating talk.
Share, like, comment, tweet. Are these foreign terms to your business? They may not be to your competition and the reason you're losing sales. Social media marketing is on the verge of dominating commerce. The right social media strategy can help you slay the competition and gain new customers. We're Salem Surround. We take the mystery of digital marketing off your shoulders, letting you run your business while we deliver customers. Your competition is already social. Catch them and surpass them. We offer a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and suggest methods that could dramatically increase your sales. We know how to make every digital dollar count towards sales success. Now there are no limitations on where you can reach customers with Salem Surround. Total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more by logging on to surroundstl.com. Surroundstl.com, connecting you with new customers.
Smash with you here, St. Louis people here. I'm doing this People's Praise Party Sunday mornings, and they're saying, you, the dude that rock and rolled us all these years here in St. Louis, you're playing Jesus music? Well, yeah, Charlie Daniels does Jesus music.
When I die, hallelujah, bye-bye, I'll fly away.
All kinds of great Jesus music. We're going to rock it Sundays, 11 a.m. to noon as you're digging the Smash with the People's Praise Party right here on 1380 a.m. and 105.3 FM, The Answer.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning this morning, yes. It's all in the morning, and it's Common Sense Radio, people. Come on. Phil, you remember when the watchmaker eGard, EGARD watches came out with their refutation of the Gillette commercial that basically was shaming men. It's like, I don't know how, I'd love to know how that eventually blew back on Gillette, because there are a lot of people who are like, dudes, what are you doing? putting men down and making all men to be a bunch of rapists and everything else. And so Gillette kind of, boned it there. So what happened is eGuard watches then came up with a response to it, and it was called "What is a Man?" Listen to this. Showing firefighters.
What is a man? Is a man brave?
Saying 93% of men account for workplace fatalities.
A hero.
97% of war fatalities.
Is a man a protector?
79% of all homicide victims, male.
Is a man vulnerable?
Half of fathers without any visitation rights are still financially supporting their children.
Is a man disposable?
Men account for 80% of all suicides.
Is a man broken?
85% of homeless people are men.
Is a man trying? We see the good in men.
Yeah, so at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm buying a watch from these guys. There's no question about it. So I did. Finally came in the mail. And it was really it was a great response to Gillette because it was really kind of groundbreaking. So I buy the watch. I get the watch, and it's a really nice. Look at the watch. You like this watch? It's pretty nice.
I think it's very nice.
I haven't worn a watch in heaven knows how long, but I thought I'd at least support this company in a small way. It wasn't very expensive. And the only problem is I realize that I'm too blind to read the watch, to look at the watch. When I look at the watch, I can't see any of the numbers on there or anything. So I bought this watch. It has all these groovy little numbers on it, but I can't read the watch. So I'm going to wear it anyway because it looks cool. And then I'll just put on my readers when I need to read it, right? You think that's a good solution?
I think it's a good-looking watch.
Yeah, man. Here, put it on. It was weird how I couldn't really set it up, but I'm in. I'm in. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Bird is doing the work that many Americans simply don't want to do, and that is going to CPAC for all of us. Jennifer Bird, are you about to see Vice President Pence?
In a little bit. We had to go through an awful lot of security to get there.
So you're in there now, huh?
We are. That will be, I think, in an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
And you know how and it's smart. You know, you're ahead of the game with your security. You have to be.
Yeah.
We actually had to go through a lot of security even just to get into Media Row. We had a lot of interviews set up for this morning.
Yeah. So how's it going? What's your take on how CPAC is fleshing out?
Well, I'm very impressed, frankly, and of course a lot of the questions that were being asked, and it's sort of a giveaway when they ask you, what do you think of all the Cohen stuff, and do you think that has taken away from the president? You know they're liberal. Sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry, but pardon me for just pointing out what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And no, it hasn't taken. I think it's further empowered, and of course the questions are, what is the mood here? The mood here is upbeat. I'm filled with like-minded people who are ready and willing and are fighting and working to take their country back to greatness. And so I'm finding a lot of positivity, a lot of excitement, and a lot of enthusiasm. And I'm ready for Trump 2.0. I don't know about you, but I am.
I definitely am. And let me ask you something, though, Jennifer, because there's been some talk, and some people have talked it, about this possibility that somehow President Trump is going to be primaried. Are there people who are at CPAC who actually believe that he should be?
I haven't run into any of those people, but that's interesting you mentioned that because it's what's very fascinating about this. You're going to love it. And it's just like it was in Missouri back in the day, all women. and we're all in, and we're circling and gathering, and we're hearing rumors, but none of us can substantiate those rumors. But one thing we are united on, no, we're ready for Trump 2.0. And the women, once again, are going to band together and get it done. While we'll have, of course, and you know in Missouri, we had plenty of men roadblocking, as you know. Not you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Within the party and the party structure. And then you had people like myself and others that just pierced through. And, and so that's what I'm seeing. Now, again, and we ran, oh my goodness, we were with a number of women this morning. Very, very, very diverse group. Asian, African-American, Caucasian, and all of us gathering. Have you heard? Have you heard? Oh, it doesn't matter. What have I heard? Trump is the word. That's what I'm going to maintain. And so we're all saying that it's going to be the same for us. And again, ready for Trump 2.0. So if the rumors are true, get ready, because we're mean when we fight.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can't imagine who is going to. I can't imagine who's going to primary him. I mean, John Kasich is
right.
He's just a grifter. He's a guy.
Whiner. He's just a whiner.
He's just a guy who's
a grifter. I love it.
Yeah, he's still just trying to make some money off his campaign, and it's still raising money, still using money from his old campaign. It's like, dude. It's really kind of a bore, and President Trump's doing so well.
It's pathetic.
So yeah, but are there people? Because I remember not too long ago that CPAC was not known for its love of President Trump. I remember back in the day there were a lot of people who were suspicious of him, and I get that. I'm on some of the activist crowd. I can understand people who have worked a long time for conservatives and that kind of thing, wondering what Trump was up to. I understand that. But maybe when they got out of their own way, they could have figured it out. And I think they finally did.
Exactly. But see that you hit it on the head. Do they get out of their own way? You've been working for conservatives for such a long time, then why are we such a wreck?
Right.
People like myself and Trump came out because these people weren't doing it correctly. You can tell me something, but if I go out into the community and find that your words are not actually truthful in my life, you're just another liar to me. And you know what? I'm lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. And I will follow if I have the right leader. I will lead if I need to, and I will get out of the way if I'm not interested. So I'm not doing or saying or expecting anybody else to do or say anything that I'm not willing to do myself, as long as I have the capability. And again, you've been working for conservatives for a long time. You know what? This is politics, baby. I'm not playing it's my turn. It's not a carnival. I didn't buy a ticket, and I'm not going to stand in line. If you're not doing it right, I'm going to come in and do it right.
Right on. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too.
That's how it is.
Well, and Jennifer, we kept losing. I mean, it was John McCain, then it was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney should never have lost that election in 2012, and it was only because he was lazy, and only because Republicans were lazy. Republicans didn't understand the need to change the electoral map and reach out to different people, and I think that's because they really didn't want to. I mean, you're not going to, if you're defending bad trade deals, or you're part of bad trade deals, you can't go out on the stump and talk about making bad trade deals more fair. You can't do it. So you're never going to be able to make any strides.
John McCain, who gets off of his deathbed to come in and do his little hyper dramatic thumbs down.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the conservatives. Can you even say conservative with a straight face next to that name? Seriously. And I'm not sorry. If you want to claim that, and then people will want to say, oh, you're in the party and you shouldn't be talking like that. I'm sorry. You're expecting me to support people who have veered so far away from our platform, and that I'm the bad guy?
Yeah.
Pardon me, I'm just a truth teller. And I live in reality each and every day, and I'm not paid to do what I do. So you can't shut me up. I mean, that's my attitude. So I get what you're saying. But you know what really kicks people off about Trump? He went for the straight for the top from the first step out of the box.
Yeah.
Never been in politics.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of jealousy. But, he's a master marketer. He already had his name recognition. And he also could tell the straight truth to people. Like you said, if you're part of these bad trade deals, that's your problem. Trump saw right through the whole BS. He saw straight through it from the get-go. And so, this is my first CPAC, so I cannot honestly tell you how I think from the past, only based on what people reported to me. But here today, there's an air of excitement and satisfaction, and man, oh man, a lot of women. And I am loving it because we're going to get it done. And we're going to band around the president once again. That's going to happen.
Well, that's interesting. You keep
2.0.
you keep talking about a lot of women, and I think that's interesting because I've been to CPAC a couple of times, and this was back in the past for the 2012, and I'm pretty sure I was there 2008. And it was mostly just a bunch of guys, really, and it really didn't have that amount. And I think that's a significant change and an adjustment. And I do believe it's funny how President Trump was always maligned as, that women, suburban white women will turn against him and everything else. It was like, turns out it's like they're more active than anybody. It's crazy.
Right. I know. It is crazy. You know why? Because we're angry. We're tired of being dismissed. We're tired of being lied to. And we're tired of being told what is when we can go right out into the street and find out it isn't what is being reported. Yeah. And you know what? I like you were talking about Gillette. Now, in a joke, you could say, oh, you're a sexist, not a feminist to me, because I'm definitely not a feminist. I love the differences between men and women. Just love it. Okay? And I love an alpha male. Doesn't mean I love everything and every word, but that's my preference. Don't tell me I can't like chocolate either. So, these are my preferences. But what I'm saying is, and I'm a woman who I will listen. I will take instruction. I will lead. I will follow. I will step aside. To me, it's all part of the greater good. But if I see you're making a big mess of it, I'm apt to be the angry mother to come and take it all away, put you in the corner, and go do it myself.
Right.
And so that's where I am. I'm moving, and I'll take your advice if it's good, I'll give mine if I think it's better. But here's again, I'm looking at a ton of women. I'm feeling very relieved and empowered because, of course, when we look at the fake news and listen to it, and it seeps in no matter how you try to resist. And you hear all these messages, and I come here and I see tons of women, all shapes, sizes, colors, backgrounds, certainly geography plays a role in a lot of what we do and what shapes us. And there's one big uniting factor, and you know what that is? We're ready for Trump 2.0, baby.
There you go. All right, Jennifer.
I love it.
I know, and I know you were really active, and I just love your passion, and it's great. And so, so is Vice President Pence? Is he the end here, or is there more coming?
Oh no, it's my understanding the president will be here tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Wow, fantastic.
Let me tell you, it's not fantastic when your own state party schedules their Lincoln Days on the same weekend as CPAC.
Oh, they did?
Oh, did I say that out loud?
What's wrong with these people?
I'm glad you asked that. And you love my passion. You wouldn't like it if you were on the other end of it. Well, I wasn't happy about something. I'll tell you that.
Well, but here's the thing, though. So was it designed to keep? Because they knew you people would all, like you and Sonny and the rest of the gang, would all be up there?
You got to wonder. I don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions, but I can tell you I have a lot of those types of questions.
Man, this state...
I find it fascinating.
Yeah, this
state
Republican Party.
Real. I am flying out of here tonight because I have to be back at state committee tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
That's happening.
Swampland down there in Jefferson City, I'll tell you, man. Wow. All right, Jennifer. Well, safe travels.
You know what it is? It's the people at the top.
Yeah. Oh,
God bless you, Jamie. Thank you.
All right, dear. Well, safe travel. Say hi to Sonny and the gang for me, and thanks for fighting the good fight.
I absolutely will. I'm here with Nicole Jenkins, and we're going to flip the vote.
Okay. Tell Nicole hello for me, too. All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
I will. All right.
Okay.
God bless you, Jamie.
All right. God bless you, too. See you later. Okay. Call Tammy.com. Listener line is 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380. We'll be back.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Good morning this morning. How is everybody? What would you like to hear about? How about Proctor Drapery? I think you ought to, because Michael is going to soon be gracing this beautiful studio. And this beautiful studio, right in the middle window there, you might not be able to see it if you're just listening on the radio or the app, but eventually if you go to Facebook or if you go to the front page of theanswerstl.com and see the live video, you will see a Proctor window treatment. It's going to be the motorized James Bond shade, as Michael calls them. These are shades that are operated with a push of a button. So that's going to be really cool. And you can do that with anything in your home. It's pretty fancy. It's pretty cool. And Michael is a great guy. Longtime supporter of Common Sense Radio when I was back at the other station, and when in 9 months when I was on Radio Free Allman and doing the Facebook and everything else, there was Michael Proctor loyally supporting you and supporting me. And so I appreciate that. So for all of your window treatment needs, I hope you are relying on Michael. Not only because he's a supporter of the show, but also because he's really good at what he does. He is your interior designer. He is the installer. He has his mobile design unit. His mobile design unit drives right up to your doorstep, and he is available to you even on Sundays. And you don't have to go anywhere. All you have to do is have him to your house, and he will turn you on to some of the nicest high-end window treatments you're going to find. The woven woods, the Norman shutters. I mean, you name it, he's got it. And he's got some beautiful, beautiful valances for you, as well as drapes. You name it. And I've been an avid customer of his as well. 3 times he's done great work for us. And so I really love the guy and love his attitude and love the fact that he's supporting you and so good to you. And also that he competes so well with some of these high-end guys, but nobody's going to beat him in value by any stretch of the imagination. So check it out on the web. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
I regularly hear stories of companies cutting the commissions of their outside salespeople. Has that happened to you? Or maybe you've had accounts taken from you and given to another salesperson to level the playing field. I've never understood those who penalize top sellers when they've become too successful. If you're a good salesperson, especially if you're in media sales, then I want to talk to you. I'm Lori Vernier, local sales manager for Salem STL Radio. I believe in the work I'm doing, but more importantly, this company believes in its people. Last year, Salem Media Group, our parent company, was voted one of the national best and brightest companies to work for. And for the past 2 years, we were voted a great place to work by our employees. If you'd like to join my sales team, drop me an email at jobs@salemstl.com. That's jobs@salemstl.com.
The station is owned and operated by Salem Media Group and is an equal opportunity employer.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great. Since you're going to buy a boat, you need a hitch. And oh, what about a floor liner? Let's keep it looking nice. You are ready. Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. This is their 20th year selling top brand products for trucks like yours. Bug shields, step bars, and bed liners. See John and the crew off Highway 50 at 1354 Frontage Road or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now get free installation on step bars for your truck only at Custom Car and Truck.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
I'm native to St. Louis and particularly endeared to the small businessman like Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Old Town Fenton. Their specialty? Their huge selection of handguns, sporting firearms, fishing equipment, and archery. Denny Dennis's trained staff always make sure that you are fitted with the right handgun or sports equipment. Another attraction? Their museum of hunted game from around the world. Denny Dennis Sporting Goods with everyday low prices. Like Denny Dennis on Facebook to see their current specials. And make sure to tell Denny that Dana sent you.
Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I've got this album cover hanging in my piano room. My parents' old album, Whipped Cream and Other Delights by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. It's awesome. Oh, I listen to this a lot. Dad would put it on the old console, and Saturday mornings he'd put all his albums, he'd stack them up, on the player, and they just each drop down all day long. You could put about 7 records up there and just last, all day long. Pretty great stuff. So anyway, listen, Andrea, my wife Andrea, her birthday is the day after Lily's birthday. So Lily's birthday was yesterday, and today's birthday is Andrea's birthday, and oftentimes it gets kind of like, lost in the shuffle there, but I wouldn't want it to be lost in the shuffle. So, for Andrea, she'd be the first one to tell you, hey, don't worry about me. We'll just do Lily's birthday, and I'll just put it in the middle. So, anyway, happy birthday to my lovely wife Andrea, and thank you so much for your support throughout this entirety of this whole time for the past 9 months. It's been, it's not only been hard for me, it's been really hard for the people around me. And so thank you, Andrea, for picking up all the slack and for going through this with me and supporting me throughout this, because it's been kind of a long road. And in order for me to actually be able to do the kinds of things I've had to do, you have been able to, you have picked up the slack, even though it's been very difficult. And so I'd probably not the time for your birthday to say that, but the reality is birthdays are a time to appreciate people and what people have done, and they appreciate the fact that they are there. And so I just want to tell you I love you and happy birthday to Andrea, and thank you for Lily, and thank you for Aiden, and thank you for Natalie, and I appreciate that very much. So happy birthday. Sorry it got kind of lost in the old shuffle there for birthdays, because it's crazy. Mine's the 12th, but at least I get, I'm out there a little farther. But Andrea's always had that since Lily's been born, but always one to be sacrificial in that sense. So we'll make it up to you somehow, that's for sure. So happy birthday to Andrea. And folks, 2 days under our belt. We come back Monday, and there we are. We have begun the Allman in the Morning 2.0, and I can't appreciate you folks enough. Max Foisey, great to be reconnecting with you, man. It's been fantastic. It's been a great 2 days, great 2-day debut, buddy, and appreciate you as always. Phil Valencia, beautiful studio, brother. Thanks so much. Aaron Cox, thanks for all of your engineering expertise. Greg Lehman, thank you for your guidance on this whole thing. Lori Veneer, thank you for your awesome sales job. Joey, thanks for all of your great production work. Shiloh, thanks for your help as well. And the whole Salem family, I'm so glad to be part of it. And thank all of you for your continued support of Allman in the Morning. TheAnswerSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. CPAC hears from a senior member of President Trump's cabinet.
It's the greatest honor of my life to serve as vice president.